Oh, dirty.
You dirty. You love a recording in progress, don't you, slut?
Oh.
Should we just do this for the whole podcast? Oh, yeah,
Recording
just
in
make
progress.
dirty old men noises. Oh, yeah. Suit you, sir. Oh, oh,
Oh.
oh,
Oh.
oh. All right.
Let's see how uncomfortable we can make the audience in the first 2 minutes.
Do you know what? That's one thing I love about watching Craig Ferguson's reruns of his Late Late Show, because he just didn't give a fuck about the format. And that was something that I really appreciated. Like James Corden, all these fucking gimps, they're so, it's so methodical. It's so obvious. With him, you legitimately got this vibe of, yeah, I'm just going to fuck around because I don't care. Like, I'm not going to, obviously, I care about entertaining people, but I'm not going to do it under any guise other than my own, which is why WrestlePlug is so cool to me, because I've literally done that. Like, there's a little bit of everything there, but I'm not fucking sacrificing my creative, standpoint just to get a few more followers. Don't get me wrong, I get why someone like Simon Miller would have to do so, because of course he can. There's a lot of money involved, but I'm not doing that. I'm just not. And a lot of people are like, that's why you're not successful. I was like, well, I am successful, just not in a media standpoint, and I'm okay with that.
No, I'm exactly the same. I can't do anyone else. I can only do me and what I do. But what you were saying there about Craig Ferguson, that is exactly why I would want to do a late night show. That's the type of shit I would do.
Yeah, the gay robot skeleton and 2 interns in a horse.
I'd be fucking doing it. I'd be fucking great at it. I'd be great at that. Be great at doing family fortunes. I would fucking
family
kill
fortune.
I would kill it as the host of Family Fortunes.
Who's that? Who's the host of Family Fortune? What, the black guy from the American one? Or are we talking about the British one?
Steve Harvey, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's fucking incredible, because he's just
he's great.
He's just raw as fuck. The more authentic you are, the better the television is as well. And we seem to have lost that. And that's the same in any medium. You can say what you like about wrestling. Like, oh, it's shit. Cool. Don't watch it then. But the people who love it because it's pure, unadulterated, and unfiltered Aeron Nix. Like, with all the bells and whistles and a bit of gimmick on top. But it's just pure rage and abject fucking in your face. It's Smash Mouth. Because I saw what Simon Miller was doing. I thought, he's already got that nailed. What's the fucking point of doing that? No point. Not going to do what Cultaholic do, acting like a bunch of nerds. Like, that's not for me either. So how am I going to do this? Like me, it's amazing how many people you watch these YouTubers and you just think, fuck me, you're so fake. I can see right through it. You can tell it's all like a fucking little, it's just there to appease a certain level of an audience, because they know that, like, that's, you know what? One thing you got to give Logan Paul credit for, he's a fucking asshole, but at least he's honest about it.
I'd have to give Logan Paul credit for anything.
Yes, you do. Love Logan Paul. He's a great wrestler.
Fuck him.
He's my favorite.
Yeah, Chris Benoit was a great wrestler. It doesn't mean what he did is acceptable.
We can't really put them in the same bracket, can we? You cannot say that Logan Paul is like Chris Benoit. That's like
I'm going on record.
That's not. It's not the same. You can go on record. I'm certainly not putting that out in the ether.
I'm going on record.
SilentMark are not shared by the overall overwhelming disposition of the Silent and Death Machine podcast. All 21 of you.
I'll even come on the WrestlePlug next time and say it. They're on par.
You won't come on the WrestlePlug. Don't lie to the audience. You're never free. I'm never free to the audience. Look, if you want to fucking, you know what? Comparing Logan Paul to Chris Benoit is one thing, but do not lie to the people. That is disgusting behavior. I will not have that. Do not tell people that you're coming on a WrestlePlug when you have absolutely no inclination to do so. Unbelievable.
Oh, no, I really want to do it. I fucking love coming on the WrestlePlug. Well, I know fuck all.
Well, speaking of Chris Benoit, pal, you know what he did? I mean, if you want some room in the house.
I know some fucking... After this weekend,
at this point, I just don't give a fuck. The amount of heat I have, I'm like, fuck it, we're rolling with it. I'm just going to grab my vape, but I will be listening.
I know fuck all about wrestling, but I love being on the podcast because you guys just think so much of me. And I'm like, no, I literally know fuck all.
Mate, you're entertaining as fuck. We need to do more watch-alongs. Do you know what? Well, you know what we should do? We should do watch-alongs for this channel that have nothing to do with wrestling. Watch-alongs of other stuff, like just like people watching or dumb fucking like things that have gone viral on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I
You've
am
got to make
down
time
for
then,
that.
haven't you? Got to make time.
What we could do, instead of doing the usual horse shit that we do,
we'll do some other horse shit.
Yeah, we'll do the other horse shit.
Can we watch Logan Paul videos?
God, no. I would not put our
Can we watch Chris Benoit wrestle?
Anything to do. Yes, that we can do.
Yes, we can, because they're the same.
No, right. Chris Benoit's better. As a human being, Chris Benoit is more acceptable.
What's really sad is probably up until things really started getting bad, there's probably some truth to that statement. That's really depressing, like in so many ways.
Everyone has a bad day.
Certainly does. Jeffrey Dahmer had many. He's right. People are going to watch this.
It's a fucking start, isn't it?
People are going to be like, "You're being offensive. It's disgusting." But then the same people will go on Netflix and watch like Dahmer in like, you know, and just fucking lord over it, pour their admiration over it because of how good it is.
Yep.
And it's like, well, that's much worse than us making a crack at comedies. By the way, if you're offended by that kind of comedy, fuck off. This is not a place for you. Same as WrestlePlug. Don't fucking come and watch. But if you want real, it's a good place to start. And also some outrageous statements from SilentMark, who currently has a black dish plate next to his cheek. Imagine if that's how you eat.
It's my muff. It's my anti pop mic muff thing.
Is it? What does it actually? I've got one of those, but I never bother using it anymore.
So difference between them. So p, and then p.
Ah, okay. I mean,
but by the looks of it, you've got a muff on.
I beg your pardon.
By the looks of it,
what I do in my personal time is none of your business.
Your muff.
Your muff?
On your mic.
Yeah, I know. I'm taking a piss. Yeah, I've got like is the muff there to, but I also did get the thing that covers over it as well.
The muff is basically the other version of this.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I thought this was more for settling down wind.
Both. You can fart into it forever and it doesn't pick up.
You can fart into it forever. SilentMark presents his version of the multiverse.
It's true.
Imagine, like, you know, Doctor Strange, and like they're this really intense moment, and then all you see in one of those little fucking vortexes, you just with your ass in there going. That's better than
my ass.
Because Marvel is for children. Grow up. I hate it.
My kids are enjoying it.
Do you know what? Right? There are some good films. The ones that really ramp up the funny, like Deadpool, for instance, brilliant. Love Deadpool. Love Guardians of the Galaxy. But then you get these films like Captain Marvel. Utter shit. Sorry, it was shit.
I enjoyed Captain Marvel.
That's because you're a dork. What else have we got? Fucking Captain America was good. I thought that was pretty decent overall. The overall sort of story arc throughout for all of them. I like the Iron Man films as well. They were pretty cool. Then they start having these spin out. Black Panther. I haven't seen either of them, so I can't comment. I'm just trying to think. Like, I think it's more the overwhelming need for it to be like the Avengers films are all massively overrated. Like they're okay. Like good graphics, good set pieces in places, but in others you just think, I don't need 3 hours just to build to Captain America going Avengers Assemble, because that's literally what that film is. It's a 2.5 hour war. Do you know what? Right, I don't want to hear you, especially with your Lord of the Rings hatred, talking about all this walking. That's what all the Avengers films are. Walking through fucking different vortexes, bumping into different aliens, all to get to one point so that one guy can go, Avengers, assemble. All right, let's get it on. Wham. Just watch the last half an hour. You don't need anything else. No, Thanos, bad man, destroys world. Captain America and his gang of reprobates trying to save it. Now let's get it on.
Big and they did 2 films of that. They did also, basically 6 hours in total of Batman.
Basically, like, and also, but then also all the films became spin-offs to them which then lost a lot of their luster for me because then all of a sudden it's like, don't get me wrong, everyone's like, oh, it's a masterpiece in storytelling. No, fucking Ulysses is a master in storytelling. Like this is just a shit ton of films going, Thanos, bad man. Like that's all it is. There's not much else.
The link together, linking them together is nice. They got way too much up their own arsehole with it. And I think that has come to fruition with the newer films. So things like the new Ant-Man film, with the new Doctor Strange film, it all just got a little bit too up its own arsehole. And it got very po-faced. Like it takes itself way too seriously.
There's also way too many films.
Yeah.
What they're doing is saturating the market to a point where we don't pay attention to all the really good films that are out there. Like there's so many great films come out that have nothing to do with superheroes, but we're so saturated and so obsessed with Marvel, and they're also very clever. They go out and get all the best actors. Nobody's questioning the casting and things like that, but I personally think they're massively overrated, and ultimately I find the majority of the humor to be very childish. Even Iron Man, who I found relatively entertaining under Robert Downey Jr. After a while, I was like, we have a bit more seriousness, a bit more, like instead of you just being.
That's what it's for. It's for families. It's a family.
Well, I'm not. I don't have a family. I'm a single, angry old man, and I'm not interested in having all this.
You, mate.
No, well, it fucking should be, because ultimately I'm selfish and I'm right wing. That's how. Do you know what? I'm just embracing the Tory nation now. Fuck you. I want to be part of the 1%. Everything should belong to me. And
you
not you
massive fucking Nazi.
Nancy or Nazi?
Both.
Yeah, I'm down for both. See what I mean?
Both.
Left wing, typical left wing, mate. Just trying to fucking denigrate people with overly sexual comments. That's all they do. That's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of libtards. That's what you are. I'm looking forward to somebody who's actually not seen this before, thinking that I'm being serious and be like, right-wing scum, LBC, bang, 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 fucking throwing pamphlets about Brighton at me from a distance.
It's when they, so if people only know me from being relatively wet and they come on and see you in your character, as in not a character is what you actually think, then like, why are you talking with him?
I do hate the left and I hate the right as well. I hate all of you. Oh, I subscribe to a label. Oh, I'm red. I'm blue. I'm Tory. I'm Labour. You're all fucking fit cunts. The world's going to burn regardless. Do some recycling and shut up.
All because of you.
Yeah. I will watch it.
It's you that's going to do it, mate.
You know what? You can say what you like. Thanos had the right idea, mate. You eliminate half the universe. No poverty. No starvation. No droughts. Selfish. I agree with Bill Gates. Kill them all.
It's the purples.
Allegedly.
That'll kill us all.
Purples?
But no,
Who are the purples? Is that UKIP?
No, Thanos.
I personally think
Thanos was purple. Thanos was purple.
Logan Paul and Thanos. They are the people who should lead us into the next generation.
God, no. God, no. Fucking Logan Paul is already leading the youth down a rabbit hole of fuckwittedness.
Yeah, but to be honest, that's their problem, not his. If you're stupid enough to think it's okay to pay £10 for a bottle of coconut water with some flavoring, whose fault is that? Who pays the money? It's not both, though, is it? It's not. Do you know what? All Logan Paul is doing is realizing he can make shitloads of money out of people because they're stupid. And to be honest, we should all be doing the same.
See, that's where I'm definitely not a capitalist because I can't do it.
Oh,
I would get to a point where I'm like, well, no, I've got enough. You guys can, have some of that. Just do that. I would, if I was in business, which is probably why I'm not in business or entertainment or successful, but I'm definitely one that's
CV, pal.
Yeah, I'm definitely one that's, if I've got what I need plus a bit more, then why would I charge more for something if I'm already happy?
Because people are willing to pay it.
Yeah. But
This is the thing. It's don't get me wrong. I don't agree with it to a certain degree. Like, for instance, football is a good example of this, right? These bigger Premier League teams, like Arsenal, for instance, they have tickets there, standard price tickets that are like 120 quid for a game. And you think that's for fucking 90 minutes of people falling over and pretending they've hurt themselves. You can pay a tenner and see that at Coliseum. So that's what wrestling is. Do you know what's really funny?
Yeah.
Football, much more fake than wrestling. Much more fake.
Oh.
Hilariously fake. Like, it's scripted to the most hilarious manners. Which is why, like, but then look at the pure sports, the Olympics. We only give a shit once every 4 years for 2 weeks. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, nobody here can tell me, oh, you know, we all thought, oh, look at Usain Bolt. How incredible. A man can run 100 meters in 9.6 seconds or whatever it is. And that's incredible to see. Nobody's watching the track meets every week. Nobody cares. They just want that one moment of edification because it's like, hey, this is the pinnacle of it all. Watch this and then fuck off. Whereas with football, we'll just keep coming back to watch these dolly tarts run around and fall over. And we're all guilty of it. But it's that thing of, yes, it is disgusting that Arsenal charge that much. But ultimately, the people who are moaning the most are always the ones who still pay for it. They'll pay for it, then complain after the fact. Like all these people who have bought AEW tickets today, AEW All In went on sale, right? Now, to be fair, much cheaper overall than the Clash at the Castle price range. Like, you can get tickets for 30 quid if you're happy being quite literally up there with God himself. But, you know, for a lot of people, it's just being there, innit? Being there. That's pretty cool. But like the most expensive tickets are 1,500, and people are moaning about that. I've just spent £1,500 on a ticket. Well, in that case, it then becomes a you problem, not a they problem, because you've had a choice. You don't have to buy the £1,500 ticket. There are options for everybody. Buy the £30. Oh, but I want to be closer. Well, then that's the price you pay. That is the price you pay. If you don't want to pay it and you're not going to pay it, by all means, fucking hammer them. But if you've paid it or you're going to regardless, shut up. Because you're just as much of a part of the problem, in my opinion.
No, I'd agree with that. Like,
it frustrates me. This is the problem. This is why we're fucked overall. This is why cost of living is such a huge thing. Because as an overwhelming demographic, we complain about things after we've accepted them. And that's not a healthy position to be in. We need to immediately push back and say, no, absolutely not. Why are we paying such ludicrous prices, you know, for what is essentially things we need to survive? We pay ludicrous money so that we can keep the power on. But then we want to cry about it after the fact, but we're still going to pay it. Make it, you know, this is the thing. I really believe in the overwhelming populist theory of the overwhelming number who are controlled by the 1%, because that is true. Like, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's true. The 1% controls everybody else. They do. That's why they have all the money and we don't. That's why they're billionaires and we're not. And as soon as you get money, all of a sudden, you jump yourself over to the other side because you know that it benefits you better. Of course you're going to do it. Of course you're going to do it. If I won the lottery tomorrow, you know, I would. Like, I'm not, do you know what? I don't mind admitting this. And this is why people can say you're a hypocrite. That's fine, because I absolutely am. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I'm on 27 million. I'd make sure guys like yourself are well looked after and have a comfortable life so your kids can live a great fucking life. I'd literally take half of it, give it to all of the people that I love, which admittedly isn't that many at this point because you're all dickheads. But I'd send it out. Seriously, fuck them. Like, this business has taught me a lot, actually. This business has taught me one thing. Doesn't matter who's your friend, they can stab you in the back very quickly. Doesn't matter. Does not fucking matter. And I've learned that the hard way. And now I'm incredibly ferocious about not letting people into my inner circle now. So I'm like, no, that's cool. You're not in. But the people who are, like yourself.
Your bum.
Hey, yeah, that too. So, you know, ultimately, hey, it's hard to find good men these days, honey. Or good women with a strap on. But it's that matter of, exactly. It's that thing of, I know that I would then be so. These people who always say to me, my mum used to say this all the time. It's hilarious because she's a right-wing Nazi, so there's no way she would do this. But she's sitting there going like, if I won the lottery, I'd give it all away to animals. Would you fuck? Would you fuck? You'd probably buy a property that says no immigrants allowed inside. Like, I know what you're like. Like, don't fucking lie to me about that shit. And all these people saying, oh, I'd give my money to charity. Nah, you wouldn't. Nah, you would. It's easy to say that because you know you're never going to have that money. But if by some God's miracle you did, you wouldn't give it all to charity. Some of you might, So the very few and we've established as well, Mother Teresa and her whole disgraceful human being anyway. So apparently, according to SilentMark anyway, he seems to have the inside track
She
on
is.
Mother Teresa.
She is. I still can't get the smell off. I'll put it that way.
He's dead. Like, so no wonder you're not getting the smell off.
That's probably
But
why.
exactly. Fucking, I mean, lime cures most things, but maybe not corpses. But it's that thing of, I can't stand this hypocrisy. You know what? I'm not a great human being for the most part. There are definitely very selfish mentalities that I have. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Because what
But the
I
thing is,
earn is mine.
you've already just illustrated how that isn't 100% true. Because you've already said that you would set up the people you love to make sure they were fine.
Yeah, but only, because I know that I'd still have plenty for me. But the thing is,
But people
overwhelmingly,
aren't.
I'd still have a lot more than the majority, wouldn't I?
Oh yeah, of
And I'd
course.
be okay with
But
it. And you know what? I'd
there's a
drive my
difference though.
fucking Bugatti through the streets and mock peasants. That's what I'd do.
I will disagree with you on that because Bugattis are only for bell ends.
Exactly. And I am a massive bell end and I want a huge Bugatti. And don't talk to me about BMW drivers, by the way. Cunts, the
They're
lot of
cunts
you.
as well.
They are fucking literally.
Absolute bell
I'm
ends.
pretty sure there's some sort of weird injection thing like the Matrix. You sit inside your BMW and it just filters pure cuntery into your body, and then you just act like a fucking cunt for the rest of your life. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with that. Very strange.
It is true.
They're not
It's
even
like
that good.
card.
They're not even great cars either. Like I'd rather have an Alfa Romeo or a Bentley or an Aston Martin or something super fancy or a Lamborghini. Like there's millions of amazing brands you get, but BMW seems to be the choice of the cock.
Because it's affordable poshness. I kind of like to think of it of prosecco for cars. So people who drink prosecco religiously, they're pretending to be posh, but they can't afford champagne. So they have to
but that
drink
shit's dirt cheap and
prosecco.
all. Isn't there like £5
exactly.
bottles of champagne you can buy and stuff like? It all
But
tastes the same.
that's
It all tastes like fizzy rat piss. Like
it's true.
it does. Wine, mate. People who drink wine. By the way, I really want to have a fucking go at people who dirty. What's that, mate? You drink wine.
I drink wine.
Yeah, of course you do, because you're a fucking massive potato-headed bellend. Look at you. Wine is
I had one the other day.
Wine is for people, women.
Beautiful.
It's for women. It's made exclusively for women. It's a joke. It's made for women and posh people who want to sit there and go, do you know these people who sit there and go, I'm getting hints of rosemary. I'm not. I'm getting hints of shit because it tastes like crap. I never get these, there's notes of fucking raspberries in there. Well, go and eat some fucking raspberries then, you mong. They're much better for you than drinking wine. Get a fucking whiskey, man up, have a beer. Even a fucking pina colada's got some flavor to it, but wine is it's crushed grapes. Just go and eat some fucking grapes. And if you want them fermented, shove them up your asshole and then eat them out of there, you fucking losers. Wine. Fucking red wine, especially. They're all shit. Wine is shit. Champagne is shit. Bucks Fizz. What the fuck is that? Someone was like, tell you what we'll do. We get some cheap champagne, put some orange juice in it. Bob's your uncle. Wham. That'll mug them off.
Bucks Fizz is a daytime drink. It's a morning drink.
Says an alcoholic at work.
Yes.
I don't get the
appeal
of wine.
You can drink Bucks Fizz in the morning.
Don't. Even if it's free at a wedding, I won't drink it. I won't drink it because it's fucking awful. It tastes like piss. It does. I'd rather drink my own piss and then just drop some red food coloring in it. No one will know the difference. Here you go. This is the Chateau Merlot El Zanetti fucking 1975. And watch them drink him. Like, yes, it's got a taste of disappointment about it. Yeah, just like I have every time I look at you drinking it, you fucking losers. Fuck off.
Wine. I did have a bottle the other day, though. It was
gin as well can
fruity.
fuck off. Gin can seriously. That being said, right? Let's see. I've just gone on this tear. You know, I was Frankie Kazarian's driver, which was like one of my biggest things I've done. I got to meet the amazing, and he's sitting there drinking bottles of milk. So, and he's fucking cool as shit and listens to Metallica and is part of a metal band and owns his own cigar company with Cody Rhodes, by the way. And he's sitting in my fucking car. Crazy. The guy who's the main eventer of WrestleMania one of his best friends, he owns a cigar company with, is sat in my car and he's like, yeah, here's some texts I got from like Ric Flair and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm just like, fuck it. You're sat in my Ford Fiesta. We've got one of the best women's wrestlers in the back. And we've also got fucking poor Ajax in the back. We've got literally enough briefcases to fucking start a war in Heathrow. Like, there's no room to breathe. There's fucking discarded McDonald's shit everywhere in this tiny red Ford Fiesta. And I'm just sitting there like Frank Xerian's like showing me, doing Iron Sheik impressions, talking about Iron Sheik trying to buy a case of beer for an 8x10. Like literally, like this woman was like, that'll be $18, please. He's like, no, Iron Sheik pay with 8x10 with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Baba. What the fuck is going on? My world is fucking insane. I don't live. There's nothing I do that's normal anymore. This world is fucking weird to me. But I can't live a normal. I can't live a normal life. I was born to be in the wrestling world, clearly, because I can't live normally.
Fuck normal. Fuck normal.
Fuck people who drink wine. Also, women who like say they're professional gin drinkers. First of all, not a profession, you lazy tart. Yeah. Get a job. Second of all, gin sucks dick. Especially with like gin's not horrendous. So what do? They get sour Indian piss water and put it in there to make it worse. Tonic water, which is fucking rotten. Like it's like, would you like some sparkling water? But, you know, would you like it to taste extremely foul and disappointing? Like your life? Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll stick that in my gin. What the fuck? No wonder this country's fucked. This is what people think is a hobby, drinking gin.
Yeah, but you are a man that, you know, your diet consists of chicken dippers.
Not chicken dippers. Morley's fried chicken, mate. Big difference.
Your palate isn't the most refined.
Is it not? Because right now, I have some lovely spice rub chicken that I've just fried up, and it's got a vegetable medley, a apple salsa waiting for me in the kitchen. I can be refined. I can make nice food. I just don't fucking want to.
Right. Southern fried chicken and applesauce.
Excuse me.
Unrefined.
First of all, apple salsa. All right, get it right. There's no sauce.
Applesauce, because I know what you're doing.
It's not some fried chicken. It's got a spice rub, not a coating. See, Philistines
you're doing euphemism here.
Philistines like you don't understand the art of the spice rub. That's your problem. You're too busy drinking shit wine from your shit shop in your shit.
Is that when a brown person has a wank?
Basically, yes.
Okay. It's probably the most racist thing I've said on the podcast.
I don't know. We're up there. We could put a highlight reel together for you, and you could probably get a job with Nigel.
Maybe.
I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand living in a world where people are like, "Oh, it's disgraceful. We're treated so poorly, and this guy's a cockwaffle, and blah blah blah." Now I'm going to go and buy a bottle of prosecco and then sample some gin and watch Jeffrey Dahmer on my TV. Fuck off. You're as bad as the rest of them. We're all idiots. Why don't we just accept that we're all morons and get on with it? That'd be so much easier.
I already do.
Legitimately, right? What would happen if literally everyone in this country, just one day said, right, none of us paying taxes, go fuck yourself. None of us. We're not doing it. What are they going to do? Arrest everyone? No.
It would... Yeah, it would show them. But
en masse mentality can damage the corporations, but we're not willing to do that because they've got this. And don't get me wrong, a hypocrite. I'm just as fucking guilty of this. I have a smartphone. I'm sitting there fucking doom scrolling. I'm playing video games like a mindless monkey. I know that, but I'm still self-aware enough to know that if we all, as one unit, say "fuck you," what are they going to do about it? They do not have enough personnel, security, especially not now. It's like at an all-time low, isn't it? The amount of people in the police and the military and things like that. They wouldn't be able to control us. They could not. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing because you don't want a fucking pure anarchy pandemonium in this country. It is nice to have a certain degree of order, but we've allowed ourselves, all of us, every single one of us, to a fault. And other than, Doris, who fucking washes in her own piss and lives in a lodge in fucking Swiss Hill somewhere. Like, because there's a few of them mentals running around, the hippies who literally, even them though, they're a fucking hilarious nightmare. I'm just a great hippie, he says on his Instagram. Like, fuck off. But it's that thing of the overwhelming 99% of us have allowed ourselves to get into a position where we'd rather just be comfortable and raped all the time than be slightly more uncomfortable and have our own faculties. And I think that's more depressing to me than anything I see in the news. Yeah, it's depressing. It's really sad how much people have to go through. Like, for instance, what do people always say when you're going through a rough time? Could be worse, could be a starving Africa. Like, I'm not a starving African, no, am I? I don't live in Ethiopia. I live in England, which is apparently a fucking first world country. It don't feel like one. And don't get me wrong, people in Africa should have the same fucking luxuries I do. They should be able to wake up every morning and have a goddamn shower and have something to eat and have a job and be able to earn a living and look after their families, not live in fucking piss poor conditions and walk 10 miles for a bottle of water. That is a joke that we have a world where people have to live that way. That's terrifying. And I've seen it firsthand, by the way. So all you liberal fuck nuggets are like, oh, it's so horrible, says the man who's literally never left the state of Hampshire. Fuck off. Like, these people who have never literally gone within 10 meters of their house, but they're on social media every day. Oh, it's so terrible what's happening in Ukraine. Seriously, go around the corner and look at all the homeless people. What the fuck? Like, have empathy for everything, not just what the big major things that the news tell you to have empathy for. It's ridiculous. And it's just sad that we've got to that point where we don't want to fucking do anything about it, really. We just want to cry on social media because then we have validation. Oh, well, I've written my tweet that says I'm angry about it, so I'm okay now. Your tweet doesn't mean fucking jack shit. It doesn't change anything. Go out there and do something.
Do you want to know where the problem lies, though?
People.
You're doing it on the presumption that the world feels the same way about it. But when you look at a hell of a lot of people, they will agree about companies not paying taxes and the profits of energy companies not being taxable and, you know, being more important than the actual price of the energy they're selling that is crippling the fucking country. There are people who think that the Tory party's promises and their thoughts behind everything are correct, and even though they're the ones getting fucked over, these guys think that everything's fine. You won't get a blanket covering of yes, everyone will say the same thing at once, because a good proportion of them are just going, no, everything's fine. It's not their fault. It's you. It's you people who want everyone to be looked after. It's you woke fucks that think I should treat a human being like a human being and not a piece of shit because of what they identify as. And it is down to you. That is, unfortunately, where we're at. I agree that we should have a blanket thing, but in this time, so I'm one of the people that you're talking about, I would much rather be comfortable and raped than be uncomfortable and inconvenienced. But right. Because, and I'll come back to it, yes, I've got a family to look after. I've got that to worry about.
Yeah, and I don't
but
think that that's something you shouldn't be allowed to do, because I appreciate that your children make it very different for you. But for people like myself, and there's millions of us who are single or in, professional relationships, who don't really have any serious, shall we say, obligations to anyone but themselves. They're the ones who ultimately they're just as bad as everyone else. But
the thing is, on the other side, if I didn't have the family to look after and I was still on my own, I would still go for the comfortable and raped than the inconvenienced and right, because I see the world as it is of a lot of people who are dicks and who are getting raped but think it's correct. And unfortunately, because I see that, it's like me, pissing into a house fire and thinking I'm doing something right. I'm going to make fuck all difference because there's a load of people out there who are pissing in a hedge rather than on the bonfire.
But then that comes down to my group mentality, doesn't it? If everyone does that, all of a sudden the bonfire goes out.
Yeah, no, very, very true. But unfortunately,
that's the really sad thing about it. Is,
yeah,
I get it. I get it. I get our mentality. We're hardwired that way. We think doesn't matter what I do, it's not going to change anything. But it's that thing of like, I've lost count of how many times I walk. So, every year I go to the local soup kitchen in Lincoln and I help out there and I help the homeless out and I donate loads of stuff to them, right? And it's that thing that's like 2 days out of my year.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not that difficult. Anyone can do that. And they're always saying to me, we just don't get enough volunteers because people like you just don't really exist that much. And it's that thing of people would rather sit indoors and watch the latest Netflix series and literally dedicate 24 hours out of their entire year just to do something relatively nice. I don't think that's a sacrifice. I don't see that as a sacrifice.
No, you're right.
I don't think it's hard to, like during the pandemic, and obviously everyone's terrified and doesn't want to go outside. I would bake cakes and leave them on my neighbour's doorstep. Just like, here you go, mate, have a cake. Something nice to wake up to in it when you only have your one, if you've only got an hour to go out and exercise or whatever, you can go, oh, there's a cake here. That's nice. Like, Aaron's baked me a cake. Put it indoors. But it's literally nothing.
As long as you told them about it, because otherwise, cake left on a doorstep could be threatening.
I mean, cake by the ocean seems to be very popular. Cameron Anson's going to be well happy about that reference. TNCE, the song by the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, no, because I'm a heterosexual man.
Are you, though? You say this all the time, but come on. I've seen the way you look at me.
I'm kind of a heterosexual man.
You all of a sudden got your big fucking steaming white man card out there, like, oh, I'm a heterosexual male, oh, I'm so fucking masculine.
I didn't say white man. I just said man.
Mate, it's pretty obvious. Look at you. Come on. Yellow,
dude, I'm browner than you.
Oh, you ain't browner than me. You just ain't.
I'm browner than you. In real life, I'm even browner than you.
You're not, though, are you? Tell you what, mate, yep. I'm going to go on holiday to India on purpose just to get the mother of all tans. I'm going to keep topping myself up. I'm going to start doing what wrestlers do, sitting under a sunbed for the rest of my life. I'm going to get fucking skin cancer just to prove that I'm browner than you. That's what I'm going to do. Fuck you,
we can both play that game, mate.
Oh, yes, I can get more skin cancer than you, I bet. Right, I'll tell you what, we'll have a fucking myself. Who can get more skin cancer by the end of 2023? Me or SilentMark? Hey, take bets now.
Dude, I could do a shreddy and paint myself.
Don't fucking attack Shreddy like that, because, like, also, first of all, you don't really want none of that, do you? Let's be real.
Well, no, but, I mean, dude, literally he's fucking amazing. I love the man. He's absolutely amazing. But when he's in his competitions, dude's fucking painted.
They're all like that, though. That's believe it or not, that's part of you have to be that way for the competitions.
I know, and I don't get it.
Imagine how the albinos feel. They must look fucking wild in those competitions.
Mm-hmm.
Like a bottle of Sunny D.
If you are in those competitions and you are albino, does the paint take?
I'm very curious, actually. I've never seen an albino bodybuilder. But you got to think, just because you're an albino, you can't be, you can still be shredded. So, like,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, talking about fake tan, like, I saw a lot of that on Sunday.
How was Coliseum?
Amazing. Like, easily the best show we've had. My third commentary partner, a young man called Connor Bailey. Wonderful. Really cool. Was very pleased with him. I always worry when someone introduces me to somebody and that person's first inclination is, well, first of all, he was very sweet. He was like, I'm such a huge fan of your work. I was like, I have no idea why, because it's terrible, but thank you. And secondly, then he goes, my background is in theater or theatrical drama. I was like, uh-oh. I swear to God, you start going, he's behind you, I will power drive you through this table. But yeah, no, all jokes aside, lovely guy. The card was amazing. So he had 8 matches again, which for me is personally too long. This is nothing I won't tell Aubrey himself because, whatever. But 8 matches, which is a bit too long, but they all flowed really. A lot of them were quite quick as well. Like the women's triple threat was mental. I loved it personally, and the crowd loved it. I have to bring something up. It's not something that I like talking about too much. So you probably heard about Nadia Sapphire going through a lot of things with the Sun recently and body shaming.
I haven't heard the details. But that's what I kind of want her to
Nadia Sapphire is like Nadia Sapphire. Freddie, most people probably know this by now, especially the ones listening. But for anyone who happens to be a new listener, and God forbid, because you probably would not have made it this far. Nadia Sapphire is like probably one of my closest friends in the world. She's like my best friend, and probably the best friend I've ever made in wrestling, other than Mark. And here we are.
I was going to say, fuck you.
Such a fucking baby. Get over it. I'm sat here now, and I. Anyway, I'm the one who keeps asking you to fucking record content, you melt. But so anyway, getting back to more serious topics. So Nadia Sapphire is very well known. She's got what 200,000 plus social media followers. She's obviously a glamour model. She's fucking gorgeous. Anyone who looks at her falls in love immediately. Trust me, I've seen every wrestler fall in head over heels. It's hilarious. I've seen some shit. But it's that thing of because of that, the Sun just randomly grabbed a TikTok that she had done and then attributed a quote which she had not used, saying "my body destroys men's lives," and basically then kind of ran this clickbait piece, and they put it on the Sun US, the Sun Ireland, the Sun fucking like everywhere, all of their outlets. And so it then got hundreds upon hundreds of responses from jealous, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Cis, fucking gendered, whatever they are, male, like just white trash scum, all commenting underneath saying, "I don't know, the only thing that ruins my life is having to look at someone that fat," like really nasty, evil, shitty comments, which the Sun had stoked the fires with by misquoting. Like they've done that on purpose, little cunts. Now Nadia got in contact with him, got it changed. She then did a piece with the Daily Mirror, who kind of did like a counter piece, which I don't know, like no offense to Nadia, obviously good for her for doing that, but at the same time, I just felt like, wait, aren't they all under the same umbrella anyway? Very strange behavior.
Yeah,
I thought Murdoch kind
the
of
Mirror's different.
Is it?
No, not the Mirror. I don't think. Yeah.
Oh, that's good news then, because like that's good. Because I mean, I trust Nadia would make a good business decision anyway, because she's fucking smart. But obviously, it hurt. It hurt her a lot, as it would. Who wants to fucking log on and see hundreds upon hundreds of people basically saying that you're a fucking walrus or whatever? Fucking terrifying. Like, it's not fun. It's not fun. And maybe a few people that I know who are falling out with recently could maybe take a fucking, page or two out of that book, but that's neither here nor there. More heat. Fuck off. It's not heat, is it? It's fucking perfect. These people are like, he's got heat. He's a nasty bit. Yeah, I'm Boris Johnson in wrestling, isn't I? Come on. It's ludicrous, man. But so at the show, there was this little kid who was sat in front of Tanvir and his missus, who came to see us, which was lovely. And by the way, Tanvir wore a suit. Did you see him?
I know, pimp ass motherfucker.
Oh, I thought he looked I thought he looked like a plantation owner, to be honest. But that's neither here
he
nor
looked
there.
really good, and then he looked good in 2 pictures, and then the last one was him with a backpack, so it just looked like his mum had packed him off to school.
He does look like he's got a big old lunch in there, doesn't he? I was just like,
yeah,
why? I did say to him, I don't appreciate you co-opting my culture by wearing a backpack, but that's neither here nor there. It's a joke.
I loved the fact he looked pimping for 2 pictures, and on the third one, he looked like he was going to turn around and go, "My mum cut the crust off my jam sandwich."
That's so bang on. And also, I'll be honest, like I'm just going to completely out him here and make a mockery of him. He wore the suit because he knew his missus wants to bang him every time he wears a suit.
Nice. Well, fucking good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I'd appreciate it if he didn't scratch her disc in the back of my Fiesta, though, while I'm having a chat with Nadia outside on the phone.
Scratch your what?
Scratch her disc,
Oh, did he? Dirty boy.
Dirty boy. Dirty boy. Dirty Tabby.
Dirty boy. To your room.
Go to your room and empty your backpack and tidy it up. He's tried to empty his backpack from what I could see in the back of my car. Dirty boy. Also, it's in Hounslow, so I suppose that's probably the least offensive thing that was seen all day in that fucking shithole, but that's neither here nor there. We're getting off topic. So basically, amazing day, amazing show, loads of things I could tell you about. But something that started me now, to be fair, Sasha, who is Tanvi's partner, love her dearly, already struck up a really good friendship with her. Lovely to see the two happy. Obviously, all jokes are, we want to see our boys happy, we want them to thrive.
Yeah.
And she took this little kid to task, but this little kid was in front of her. And as Nadia came over, he stood up and went, "You're too fat to be a wrestler. You're fat," like proper laying into her. Now, as someone who has kids, so it's like, first of all, if it was my kid, he'd get a fucking backhand. And if people think that's offensive, I don't care. You don't fucking shame people like that. And if you want to boo them, I don't like you, blah, blah, blah. That's one thing. It's a family-friendly show as well. If it was 18 plus, I'd be like, it's all off the table, isn't it? Because it's uncensored, crazy bullshit. And I've heard some shit. And ultimately, when it's 18 plus, you can say what you like back, which is great. I really enjoy those. So put me on more 18+ shows if you want somebody who can garner real heat instead of all these cosplay fucks that are running around. But that's neither here nor there as well. I'm just ramping up the heat, just to keep turning up. But so like Sasha took a start for it. You're a parent. How would you react if one of your kids made comments like that towards, say, Nadu, if you brought them to the show?
Oh, he would not. Yeah, we would have gone on. I would have apologized to the wrestler, and then I would have taken him out. I would have taken him home. Not for that, but just because that's not on. Because it isn't on.
And it happens. So I do a lot of Rumble shows. Now I love Rumble. I will never say a bad word about Rumble, the company. Incredible. Stephen, who runs it, is a master, an absolute master, and I love that place. And they treat me like a god, and I really love it. And they're all my family. But their fans can be gobshites. Bearing in mind, it's super family friendly. I've heard all sorts of things. He can't be from England. He's black. To KM Lane once. I was like, what? Ludicrous. Like, it is in Kent, which is, by the way, extremely white. Extremely white and extremely Tory. And I,
of course, it is. You're there.
Yeah, fair enough. But anyway, I just don't have the energy. I'm dying. But it's that thing of I can't disagree with the truth. It hurts. Also, hail Boris. Now, so yeah, it's that. But it's that thing. I'm seeing this at so many more shows. People think they're entitled to say whatever the fucking please, even though, I get it. You've paid a ticket. But he's like, did these same people go to Aladdin and chastise him for being Persian? Like, did they go
Probably.
to the... Probably.
One of my... yeah.
It's like, he's behind you. Of course he is. He's a fucking terrorist. Like, it's just very random behavior. Very random. Like, and you have to... now, like, one thing I kept hearing from people was, you can't really blame them because they're kids.
No, you can.
So, but it's also thing is, it didn't help that their mum was super hot, and for what I could tell, single as well. I was like, MILF. I've decided I'm now a MILF hunter. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Chase after hot older women because I like them. I've just got a thing for them. Also, gives me a good excuse to backhand their kids if they're being rude. No, but it's that thing of like, I don't get it. Like, how do you? I mean, from what I can tell, your kids are amazing. They wouldn't do something like that because they've been raised properly and they've got parents who give a fucking shit. But is that a cultural thing? Is that down to the parents not doing a good enough fucking job?
I don't know. I am in the camp of some children are born evil. Some children are just born little bastards, no matter how much you try and be a parent. My son there is not a nasty bone in his body. I think when kids are younger, things like talking about someone being fat or of a different color, or if there's a little person around, or they're curious. And when they say something,
I love Jason King, man.
He did. But when they say it, he's not. They say something not to be offensive, but because it's curiosity. It's like, right, what is that? I've not seen that type of one before. I want to know what it is. There's a joke that I do in my stand-up where I talk about me and my kid were watching. There's a show called Holy Moly, which is from America. Do you remember Total Wipeout?
Yeah.
It's that and mini golf.
Awesome.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
right?
That sounds incredible.
We absolutely love it. And there was this one where there was quite a big lass there. And Fee looks at her and goes, she is very fat. Not maliciously. Just, it was exactly like that. Just like, she is very fat. I went, yeah. And I just said, yeah, that's true. But it doesn't matter. It's not very nice to say. Everyone can be beautiful. It doesn't matter whether they're fat or thin. It's about who they are as a person.
Can Boris Johnson be beautiful?
And he goes, yeah, but she is fat though. And I'm like, yeah, I know, mate. I know. But you can't say it. It's not.
That was nice like Ali G. He is well fat though, isn't
it? but then there's a pause. And you can see his little brain thinking. And he just goes, she looks like a potato. Right?
Ah.
Yeah. But it's again, there's no malice in it. There's no nastiness or anything like that.
He knows he's going to look like you when he grows up, right?
Yeah, I know. It's a shame.
Like a
But
big
this is
old
the
pack of
same
studs.
kid. This is the same kid who there were children in the year under him getting bullied by these lads or getting shouted at and picked on by these lads. And Felix was like, no, you can't do that. That is not nice. Go away. And stuck up for them. There is not a malicious bone in his body. I think there's a difference between.
You know what? If everyone in this country had that mentality, we wouldn't have so much shit, though, would we?
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is proof to me that it can be done. Because if your fucking kid can behave that way.
But he knows that there's a line. There's a line between being mischievous and being nasty.
Has he been taught that way by you? Or do you feel like he's developed that himself? Do you think it's
I don't know.
part of being just a generally do you think there's any cadence to people can be born just naturally good people and they don't need to be taught that even by parents? Or do you feel like it is your job to drill that into them?
I think that they can be born good. I think the important thing is kind of bringing them up to not like me sounding like a fucking expert parenting. Jesus Christ. If you'd have seen me this weekend, you know I'm not a fucking expert at parenting. I think the kids can be born genuinely good, but they will learn habits from school friends, and it is down to parents to kind of direct them in the right way of going, no, it's not right. Culture. Swearing is a big one for us, because me and the kid's mum, we swear quite a bit. It's conversationally. Not in a nasty way, we just swear conversationally. We don't swear at the kids. That's a big thing that both of us have done. I've called my son a cunt once when he was a lot younger, and I had a smile on my face whilst I was doing it, so he didn't know what we were talking about. I think that's acceptable. Don't do that to your kid if they're older and they understand. Generally, one of my favorite things, my ex's friend gave my daughter a Christmas present when she was about 1.5, 2. And it simply said, "Dear Pops, you can't read this, cunt." And that was the thing on the birthday present.
We also need more of those in our society, please. Brilliant. Yeah. More stand-ups, please.
Yeah, but my daughter doesn't swear at all. She knows about swear words, doesn't swear at all. My son is becoming aware of swear words. And it was perfect for him as an example where I played a song on my radio. I probably said on the podcast before. I played a song on my radio show by AJR. The song was called World's Smallest Violin. Because I do it on radio, I have to reverse the swear words that are in it. We're listening to the show and Felix hears that and he knows the song off by heart. So he just turns around and goes, "Daddy, why is shit glitchy?" Because he doesn't know what it means. And I just went, right, that's a swear word. You're not supposed to say things like that. He goes, "Oh, okay. So can I say it?" I went, "No, you're not allowed to say that." He goes, "Oh."
What age would you say swearing should become somewhat relatively comfortable within their dialect?
I'll come on to that in a second because we had this conversation. I said, it's not right to say things like that. There are a lot of swear words. You're not allowed to say things like that. He goes, "Oh, okay." And I went, "What can't you say?" And he goes, "What?" I said, "What aren't you allowed to say? What words aren't you allowed to say?" He goes, "I can't say. I'm not allowed to tell you." Automatically got it. One thing I'm.
Can you imagine if he just turned around and went, "You bastard"? It's so funny.
No, it's going to come one day. But he's aware of swear words, so we'll listen to Blink 182 and there'll be swear words in that. And sometimes I like shout or make silly noises over the swear words. And
you're going to get complaints from uber right-wing mothers now who are like, "You let your child listen to satanic music."
Yeah. My kid's a fucking ace. My kids will request the front bottoms and, not have any qualms about it. My kids love fucking brilliant music. It's the one thing that I'm good with parenting. I can teach them to love beautiful music.
Radio show is so refreshing in an age like so. I was babysitting Tanvi's missus because she's going through a rough time, and she was like, "Can I just chill out with you before I go to work?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we're just chilling out, and we're listening to like all the London Rude Boy stations. Like literally, just keep scrolling through and scrolling through. It's amazing how corporate and how commercialized everything is in radio now. And then I listen to your show, and it's like so refreshingly honest, like real music made by real artists who care about their craft, who care about being creative. And then, as opposed to mad leave our roots, you're missing anting. You know, what the fuck is this? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm all for like proper reggae music as well. It's fucking sick. I loved reggae music when I was a kid. You know, there's so many cool things, but when it is literally just repetitive commercial crap, you're like, this all like I maybe I'm just becoming old and I am, but I do it. I am getting to that stage and I'm like, all sounds the same to me. But the thing is, I love rap music. I love Cypress Hill. I love NWA. I love Snoop Dogg and all that stuff. But for me, that's like the pinnacle of what that is, not just trash that's thrown out there for the sake of it. This was born out of like the LA riots and the black struggles and their cultural difficulties and relationships and things like that. Not, you know, Barry who wants the fucking, you know, he's wearing too much drip and he wants the drop to happen at 1 minute 27. I'm like, what is this stuff? Basically, in a very roundabout way. Well done for playing good music and having a good radio show.
Thank you very much. It is
By the way, Beyond Radio, every single Monday, 7 till 9 p.m. You can find Beyond Radio. If you ask, I do this all the time. In fact, I'm going to mute the bitch because you'll fucking stop kicking off again. So if you've got an Amazon Echo, and I know most of you cunts do, or a Google Dot or whatever, or Google Mini or whatever it is nowadays, if you ask it to play Beyond Radio on TuneIn, more often than not, it will do it automatically. Every Monday from 7 till 9, you can hear SilentMark doing as a proper disc jockey. You know, proper cracking on. Reminds me of the old days when I was a kid listening to radio. It's super cool.
And that's where it comes from. That's where my love for it comes from. As I mentioned last week, it's Mark and Lard that made me want to do radio because I love that type of shit. I play music that I love and have passion for. And the second hour of my show is always finding new music. And I love going into, you know, different stores and stuff like that and going, right, what bands would I do I think I would like the look of or the name of? Or, you know, there was a band that I've started listening to. Oh shit, I even forgot what it's called. But they did a song called "A Possum, My Possum," and I just loved that the title of the song. So I started listening to it, and I really like it. There was a band called Beyond the Lamplight, where the album artwork was a skeleton in a rowing boat with a lamplight on the end of a stick. It was really dark and eerie, and I was like, "That's fucking beautiful."
Sounds like Grim Fandango.
Listen to it, yeah, but I listened to it, and it's fucking punk folk, and it's really, really good. Like I'm properly into it. So I surprised myself with shit like that, and I'm getting the kids into that type of stuff as well. Even like kind of really nerdy rap music, like properly nerdy rap music. There's a guy called the Stupendium. We'll do this on a watch along because you need to watch something. It's fucking incredible. Anyway, so I show them this type of stuff and I let them listen to swear words, and we have a conversation about it because Felix says to me, "Well, when can I use swear words?" And I said, the thing is about using swear words is there's a time and a place for it. You need to know when to use it, where to use it, and at the right circumstance. You know, using it in school is a definite no. Using it with granny and granddad is a definite no. Using it with me, it's kind of a no, definitely at the moment, but it depends on the circumstance. Depends on what you're doing and what we're doing and what the context is. Because I think that's where, and I'm teaching the kids that, you know, because I think it's important. You have to be honest with that type of shit. So you have to be honest with everything with parenting, you know.
Is it
and
difficult?
I think that's where it is, but that's where tolerance comes from. Like the amount of people that are still intolerant of, you know, the LGBTQ plus community, people who are intolerant about people with mental health.
Like Tanvir Verdi. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, dirty boy, to your room.
Dirty boy, to your room. Clean your lunchbox up.
The idea that these type of things are wrong, 90% of it is taught.
Okay.
Anything like that is taught. So a good 10% of it, kids are born evil, so they don't care who the fuck you are. They are just going to be dicks.
Yeah, I hear horrible things coming out of kids' mouths at shows. I still remember, like, Roger Sears. I don't know if you know Roger, who wrestles. He's a friend of ours, and like, one of the ACW shows I was on videography for, and the kid behind me started screaming at him. That's why you're adopted. This kid was like 8. Like that's like, can you imagine if he was actually adopted? Like, fucking hell, man. No, it's not born out of genuine malice, but it's born out of just this need to be hateful because it'll make their friends laugh.
Yeah. And that's where it is. And I think, again, 10% of kids will have that. The followers of those kids will learn it because they want to not be bullied or want to be outcast. I think my kids are lucky enough that, they want to have friends and they want to not be the odd one out, but they also won't follow the crowd if they know it's wrong, which is, it's what I do. I don't follow the crowd. I'm fucking way away from the crowd. I'm in another field, for fuck's sake. So I do think some of it's taught, a lot of it is learned, and some of it is, But when it comes to kids like that, no, my kids wouldn't do anything like that because they know. Firstly, one big thing is they know that it is fake. They know that it is an act. They know that it is pantomime. When my son was upset about someone shouting at me at the end of the show, I took him backstage and he met the people who were involved. And he's like, "Oh no, they are very nice." I went, "Yeah, they are. We were just acting. We were playing." So now he's
Rob
very
Drake
much
done
used
now.
to. Yeah, he's a face in our thing.
Yeah.
No, he's a face in our
as
promotion.
he should be. He's a face in life, mate. By the way, congratulations to Rob making his debut at Progress. Like,
yes, mate.
That blew my fucking mind. Just over 2 years in the business. I was like, what? You wrestle like someone who's known this business for 20 years. That blew my fucking mind. That did.
Dude's
absolutely
amazing.
blew my mind.
Dude,
but no, I'm super,
really,
super
really
proud of him. He's achieved amazing things and he deserves the world. Great human being.
Yeah, very much does. So he knows that. So he knows it's an act.
Who's his favorite wrestler? He's wasn't it Alexis Falcon or Raven or
Alexis Falcon? He loves Alexis Falcon. He loves.
I know somebody who loves
Raven.
Alexis Falcon a lot, but I'm not going to dog them out on this podcast because they'll get embarrassed.
Oh no, you've got to text me it.
You've
got to let me know it.
I know somebody who has got the biggest like crush on that woman. So
fair enough. But that's it.
Yeah, and the first.
So I think
strong.
when it comes to behavior at wrestling shows, boo them, give them a bit of jip, but there's a line. There is a line, and you've got to learn it. And it's the same with comics. There is a line when it comes to talking to people in the crowd and shit.
Yeah, do you know what? Some of the stand-ups I watch where the heckling is just relentless. I personally don't like it. One person who I think is a master of that and doing it the right way and keeping it just on the right level that it never comes across as just pure malice is Dara O'Brien. He's really good at that. He'll give you a bit of stick, but like for instance, at the end of the show, he'll get everybody who he's spoken to take a standing ovation, give him a round of applause and stuff like that. Like for me, like Jimmy Carr, I find him very funny, and he is hilarious when he's savage. But sometimes I just think, fuck me, that's a bit much. I wouldn't say that to somebody. And you know me, I'm very fucking raw and honest, and think that everything should be on the table. But if I was a stand-up, which I'm hopefully going to be doing very soon, I would never walk out and be like, huh, you look like a nonce. I just think, what's that? Yeah. What is that?
Yeah.
That for me is just cheap. It's what we call in wrestling cheap heat, where you're not even trying. You're just being a cunt for the sake of being a cunt.
Yeah.
Like on an 18+ show, I can just come out and be like, fuck off. Or you look fucking disgusting. It's all cheap. It's just low hanging fruit. I like to have a little bit of a level of intelligence towards it. That's just me. Like, but then on the flip side, I think Ricky Gervais's humor, because he never really tends to interact with crowds that much, or at least not what I've seen. He says some brutal things. And when he's talking about wanking to baby Hitler, and it's like, but it is funny. And it's that thing of like, I guess everyone's got a different palate. But I think all the time it's a choice. I don't think people should be offended. I think if it's forced upon you, absolutely be offended.
Mm-hmm.
But like, people watch Ricky Dress and like, it's disgusting what he said. You had a choice to watch it. You must have known going in what you were going to get.
Yeah.
It's like people who go to
Still.
deathmatch wrestling and say, "Oh, I'm disgusted by the amount of blood." Come on, it's deathmatch wrestling. You must do some. You know what? Nothing's stopping you googling what it is before you go. Have a little look at what you're doing.
So there's a comic called Jerry Sadowitz, who is one of the harshest comics in the country. He just fucking is. He's an amazing magician, and he's a brilliant craftsman. He's a brilliant joke teller. I went to go and see him near where I live, and it was brilliant. A lot of the things he said, I didn't agree with quite a bit. I didn't find funny quite a bit. I found offensive. The rest of it, I laughed at, and I would go and see him again. But again, I live in that grey area. I do live in the grey area where I can. Ricky Gervais, I don't find him funny at all.
Do you know what? I don't find most of his stuff funny either.
And
I actually prefer his written stuff for like Afterlife is beautiful. Powerful.
I can't watch the. Yeah, I watched the first series of Afterlife. I can't watch 2 and 3 because I binged the first series of Afterlife on the night that my my ex fucked somebody else, and I was up until 4 o'clock in the morning waiting for her because she didn't have a key, and and she was like, "Why did you stay up?" I went, "Because you don't have a key." She went, "Oh well, I do have one." Okay, well, you could have fucking let me know what was happening. So anyway, I can't watch it anymore because I associate with that.
Fair enough.
But I don't. But I don't find his stand up and stuff funny, and I find when comics like that go overboard with the offense, I think that what's the point?
You're just being shocking for the sake of shocking.
Yeah, you're saying things for the sake of.
How far can you push it out before somebody really kicks off? Like...
Yeah, I've been a fan of Jimmy Carr for years, been a fan of Dave Chappelle for years and stuff like that. The more of these comedians that start doing trans jokes, the less I like them. And not because I'm a big trans, ally and all that type of stuff, which I am, but they are getting the low hanging fruit. Pardon the pun, but that was a good joke about.
Anyway, someone will complain about that. Someone will complain about that.
Let them. But the thing is, the bigger comedians are doing this because that's how they will get noticed. That's how they will get popularity. That's how they will get headlines and stuff. They're better than that. They are shit tons better than that. One of Jimmy Carr's best jokes that he had to cut from one of his shows was back before the 2010 Olympics. No, 2012 Olympics, sorry. And the joke was, say what you want about amputees from... No, what was it? Oh, yeah. Say what you want about roadside bombs in Afghanistan. Which, again, is a fantastic start. So say what you want about roadside bombs in Afghanistan. We are going to have an amazing 2012 Paralympic team.
I think that's quite funny.
Which is quite funny. It's taking something fucking awful.
Do you think that people have got more stupid when it comes to stand-up, and that's why they're more offended, because they don't realise that he genuinely doesn't think it's okay to provide Paralympic teams with a load of injured fucking, people who stood on landmines or whatever? Do you think people are stupid and can't disassociate the facts with what is essentially them just telling you a story for the fun of it?
It's like how everyone now is jumping on you can't say that anymore. Why can't you say that anymore? I should be able to say whatever I want. The same people 10, 12 years ago were kicking off about these type of jokes. They were exactly the same people. And it's because they don't look at the outside of it. So now it's the left, in inverted commas, that are jumping on the thing of, well, you can't say that. That shouldn't be said. That shouldn't be said. Because again, And I think there's a difference between the two types of jokes, but it's the same level, you know. They're looking at the outside rather than looking in and going a bit further with it. So with that joke that Jimmy Carr said, there was a lot of shit about that. And he got hounded in the press for it. He cancelled it from his show. And nobody spoke about the fact that the 2012 Paralympic team in the UK were fucking amazing, and a good percentage of them were injured in Afghanistan.
I actually went to quite a few of the Paralympics in 2012. Yeah. Had an amazing time. Got to see Oscar Pistorius. Don't know what's happened to him. He's been very quiet lately, but pretty amazing.
He has, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah. That's just toilet humour. That's what that is.
I did go to the bathroom in his house once, and a lot of holes. Don't know why. Anyway, but I think for me the difference between the jokes is the target and the not so much the punchline, but the so a lot of people talk about punching up in comedy. You've got to punch up, never punch down. It's why people can take the piss out of people like Donald Trump for being an orange small penis knob jockey. Why all this stuff can happen. Now when people are saying, why can't you make jokes about non-binary? Why can't you make jokes about trans? Why can't you make jokes about the left? It's because usually those type of people aren't at the top. They're down at the bottom. So making jokes about them, you're punching someone who's already
pick a homeless man, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with the media the way it is at the moment, the way the newspapers the way they are, and Twitter the way it is, they've stopped caring about punching downwards, and big comics have stopped caring about punching downwards. They now punching upwards. Sorry, they now don't mind punching downwards because they know they'll get a lot more money and a lot more press from punching down.
But if all these people want is true equality, then surely shouldn't they get just as much grief as everybody else? Because they're not an argument for that. Or is the opinion of what you're trying to say is we can't do that until they're on a level, in which case then we can start, right, hurry up and get on a level so we can start ripping you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But it's you're taking the mick out of someone for something that they have no control over. You know, it's like taking the piss out of someone like Stephen Hawking for being in a wheelchair. He is at the top, but you take the piss out of him for something else. If you want to take the piss out of someone, why take the piss out of something that they have no control over, that they can't help? You know, there's other things to joke about.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's quite enlightening actually to listen to it from that perspective. I never thought of, honestly, like, that's one of the reasons why I like doing this, because I've never thought about the concept of punching down. Like, yeah, but they're at the bottom, and that's why we shouldn't be taking the piss. I was like, that's a very good point. I don't, because I'm one of these people who believes in true equality is everybody's just flesh and that's it, just a part of flesh and bones. But unfortunately, society doesn't deem them in that way, and because of that, they need to be not necessarily protected, but they need to be empowered until they're at a point where they are seen as just another human being walking around.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't get that. It's the reason why, for some reason, racist jokes are coming back. But
nothing to do with me.
You're the problem.
Yes, us Arabs are the problem.
You white bastard.
Hey, watch your poor mouth. Do you know what? I find that racially denigrating to my character, and I'd appreciate if you were more of an ally to me. Because that's what all you fucking libtards apparently say, don't you? Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
America.
But the thing is, when people say, "Oh, well, you can't," why do you say that about white people? Why are you allowed to say that about white people? Because you're still fucking on top.
They always will be.
That's the thing. Yes, you can make jokes about white people
and
because they are at the top.
Christianity.
The whites. Well, yeah. Very fucking true. But that's for me, that's where the problem is. And that's why being woke, it has to happen, because unless you are, you won't get
Not
true
on the
equality.
wrestle plug,
And
it
when you get
doesn't.
true,
But it's also that thing
but when
of
you
what fucks me off is people who are allies when it suits the commercial property. Like, it's Pride Month, so therefore we're going to turn everything into a rainbow. Can't you do that all year? With the WrestlePlug logo on Twitter for literally, like, I think, like 2 years was rainbow themed. And I had people message me saying, it's not Pride Month. Doesn't matter to us. So what? Like, so what you're essentially saying is gays only matter for 1 month. What? What a stupid way of looking at things.
Again, there are 2 ways of looking at that. So companies and stuff like that do the rainbow banner for Pride Month because their entire marketing is around their colors and their promotions and stuff, but they're showing that extra bit of support, if you will. Is there an air of cynicism
that they're not giving 100? If you're going to do that, you have to give 100% of the profits. You can't be saying like 50% or a portion of the proceeds. That means it's money orientated.
If it's to do with if they're raising money for charity for it, then yeah, I agree.
But a lot of these companies are just selling stuff. Sainsbury's have this huge range of rainbow stuff that comes in. And it's like, that's great, but I want to see that 100% of those profits are going towards charities and companies that are empowering and making life easier for them in society. Not not saying like, well, a portion of it. It's like when WWE did the whole Susan G. Komen thing. I don't know if you remember that. And Susan G. Komen, legitimately, only 10% of their proceeds were going towards cancer support, and 90% of it was being pocketed by fucking shareholders. Yeah. And then they wondered why they were getting so much grief from people. And it's like, because they like, oh yeah, 10% of all the t-shirts we sell go straight to Susan G. Komen. It's like, you're basically asking people to donate money to cancer and then taking 90% of that and putting that in your pocket.
If you're raising money for something, if you're raising money for something, then you can be, as pride as you want. But if you're raising money for pride, you give money to pride. You don't keep some of it for yourself. That's what you do.
The awareness doesn't mean jack shit if you're not forwarding on any benefits that you make from it.
Yeah. As far as anything like, so when companies put their logo as the pride flag, on Twitter and stuff, a lot of people see that as a cynical thing. Is there an air of cynicism about it? Maybe.
Well, with WrestleBlog, we've never made a penny. WrestleBlog is completely non-profit. It's just a creative outlet. Even when it's nothing
to do with profits. So, for example, you've got the Coliseum logo behind you, right? All year, so that is their branding. All year it is that. What they may do for Pride Month is they may change that to the Pride flag. They're not raising money for it. They're just saying, listen, we're here for you as well. And we appreciate that that you're celebrating. We want to celebrate with you. A lot of people argue that with big companies, they're just doing it because it's something fancy to do and it's woke and blah, blah, blah. They may just feel it. They may just want to do that little, that little nod to the community to say, we're with you. Thank you very much for being around. They may be wanting to do that. They may just be going, we want to be seen as nice to people. We don't give a shit, really. But nobody truly knows that. And people on both sides of the argument are fucking dicks for going on about it. Let them do what they do. If you've got your thought about it, leave it as your thought.
No, you must hear all my opinions at all times.
I fucking do.
As you should.
I fucking do.
I have to listen to yours, so you have to listen to mine.
I don't give a shit about my own opinions enough.
Well, you should.
That's the thing.
What's the point of being here if you don't give a shit about what you think? What's the point of like?
I think a thing. There was the comedian Daniel Kitson said it perfectly. You could be down the line thinking this one thing all the way through, but that's only until something changes your mind a little bit. And the way he put it was like, for example, I like eggs. I like eggs. That's me. That's me as a person. I like eggs.
That is one sad human being.
And then someone will come up to you and go, what, even when they're thrown at your face? Oh, well, I don't like eggs then. So can I really say that I like it? Is that really my true characteristic? It doesn't fucking matter. Just you do your things until something changes you a little bit, and you may not do those things all the time again. It doesn't fucking matter.
I mean, interesting. Yeah, I like the analogy.
None of it matters. None of it matters. No one's opinions matter. The only thing that matters are
Yes,
actions.
they do. Mine, Matt.
The only things that matters are actions. And if your actions are positive towards people, you are a good person. If your
But
actions are negative
that's
towards
what
people,
comes
you're a bad
around
guy.
to what we were talking about, though, doesn't it? At the beginning of this
Mm-hmm.
podcast, who's taking actions? They're not.
No, but it doesn't matter how big the actions are.
Yeah, but some of these aren't actions at all.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like some of this is just not action. It's just pissing in the wind, not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
That's
for
where
example,
it becomes a problem.
You could all year not talk about any type of charity. You couldn't talk about any type. You don't talk about any type of social issues or anything like that. Your days where you go and help out in the local food bank, the local soup kitchen and shit like that, they're your actions. No words have left your mouth. It's the actions that make you the person that you are.
Because ultimately, words don't mean jack shit unless they're followed with actual action.
Exactly. And that's
which is what I'm saying to
I
people.
don't...
It's all very well and good talking about it. Do something about it. Not all the time. Nobody's saying you have to. I'm not saying, oh, I've got kids and shit. Yes, I'm not saying neglect your children, but you don't tell me that it's like my mum is a good example of this. I haven't got time to, go out and do stuff. She says while she sits there playing Candy Crush for 3 hours on her iPad. You do have time. You just can't be asked. Now, if you turn around to me and say, I can't be fucked, I respect that from the aspect of you've just been honest. I don't respect how that reverberates for our society, but I respect that you've been honest. But when people say, oh, I don't have time, fuck off. We all have time. We all have time and we don't make it. We're all guilty of it.
Everyone can do something. It doesn't need to be the physical actions that
doesn't
you're
make
talking
time
about.
for
It can be something
WrestlePlay
else.
because he's busy for whatever reason. But he could make time if he wanted. He just doesn't want to because he's a lazy egg.
Fuck you.
Yeah, make me.
Got an
email?
I do think that. We've got 3.
Bloody hell! I threatened them now. I threatened them today, didn't I? Still didn't get enough. So I'm going to start calling you out by your names if you don't start sending. And I'm going to do it starting from tonight. So who sent emails in?
Well, firstly, Robbie is emailed in.
Oi.
He says, "Hi guys, glad to see you're still doing it. Great work. And fuck all the marks who don't email you. Here are my questions for you both. Much love to you.
Now
question
this
1,
guy
if you could
gets
live,
it.
Yeah, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Miami.
New York. Just because I like it. What was the favorite trip you've ever taken?
Trondheim in Norway for the UEFA Super Cup.
Nice.
Beautiful. I cannot recommend Trondheim enough. It is it's weird. It's a city in Norway, but it feels like a village. The pathways are literally like 3 meters wide, no litter, nothing, like clean as a whistle, built into a forest essentially. Like, honestly, look up Trondheim. Wow, gorgeous. Also, apparently, the home of Aha.
Nice.
Had no clue, but I'll tell you what, gorgeous place, super friendly people. Everyone speaks immaculate English, and it's also right next to the sea as well, the oceans. So it's just it's got everything. The train goes along the line of the coast all the way along, literally right by the ocean, and you're just looking out, you're like, nice. Fuck me. You can see why it's expensive to live in Norway because it's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Also, lowest reoffender rate in the world. Everyone who goes to prison.
Because they're happy.
Well, no, because they have a lot of people who go to prison and they treat them like fucking gods almost. Because the whole point of their process is you need to be rehabilitated to a state that when you go back into society, you can benefit our economy and benefit our society. So they treat you with respect. They give you like, really, really nice, really well looked after, really literally it looks like a fucking 5-star hotel. It does. All their prisons are like a 5-star hotel. People think it's disgusting and they spend all this money like rehabilitating it. And yet they have the lowest reoffender rate. So their economy is one of the strongest in Europe. And they're not part of the EU.
They just do things right there.
They have their shit together. Also, extremely high level of immigration. No fucking problems with violence or anything like that. Great country. Expensive though. Save your money first.
Yeah, they do. They have their standard work week of 4 days, don't they? They do 4 and 3.
Do, yeah.
So
an average a teacher on average, the average wage for a teacher, for instance, in Norway, I think is about £80,000 a year. Because they have their shit together. Now, the people say, yeah, but that's because it's like £16 for chicken breast. Doesn't matter. Quality of living. Everyone matters in Norway. Everyone matters. I couldn't believe it. Everyone is treated properly. Holy shit. I don't want to hear excuses now from countries like America, especially.
Treated with respect.
Well, I mean, I'm very blessed. I've gone on a lot of great trips, and all of them have been of value. But Trondheim is always the one that sticks in, that immediately my brain went Trondheim. And that's probably why, for that reason. Stunning. Really opened my eyes to the world. And that was quite a number of years ago. We're talking 6-7 years ago. Need to go back. It was beautiful. Loved it.
Mine was, I've spoken about it on the podcast before, but it's my 30th birthday where I went to America. Drove from Anaheim in California up to Seattle.
Awesome.
And then drove down to McCall, Idaho, where my friend lives. And it's beautiful. It's like a small mountain town, but it's got a lake that acts as a beach, and it's fucking stunning. And I've never seen a shooting star until I went there. And on the same night, I saw fucking dozens because they've got no light pollution. So I just basically sat in a hot tub getting drunk with my friends on the side of a mountain, watching the most stars I've ever seen in my life, as clear as day.
Yeah, that's called living. That's what that is.
It was fucking amazing.
Awesome.
He also asks, what's your favorite color and what does it say about you?
Black and red, angry, passionate, fiery, generally,
Same. Actually the same. I'm a black and red person.
I like crimson. I like dark reds. I think it speaks to me as a person. There's a lot of darkness, but then it's also quite artistic. It's quite creative, but it's fiery.
Quite autistic.
Autistic, very autistic. Yeah. You joke, please. Come on. We all know. So one of my friends the other day said to me, I'm pretty sure you have ADHD. And I'm just like, might do.
Yes.
I can be quite frantic.
Yeah, I'll go with that. If you could have any one superpower, what would you have?
See, for me, I hate this question because it changes depending on the scenario. I'd love to be able, I'll tell you what, I'd love to be able to stop time so I could just rob places blind because I'm a horrible person. You know what? When I go through the supermarket and I see the really expensive meat and I'm like, oh, I'll tell you what, that steak would be wonderful, but I can't justify paying £70 for a steak. Right, don't care. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
Invisibility, so I can stare at all the hot women and lock them. No, I'm kidding.
No,
that's going to get me in serious. Yeah, that will get me in serious trouble in wrestling. No, thank you. Honestly, I'd love to be able to like Superman style fly. It would be amazing to just be on a whim, and not because superpowers and destroy. I'd love to be able to just be like, do you know what? I can just fucking. Right, I'm just going to fly to Trondheim for the day. And then there I am. And like, oh, yeah. That'd be fucking awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm exactly
I want to see the world more. I really missed the world. I haven't been on holiday since October 2019. It was the last time I went abroad. And it irks me now. And I just don't have the money to do it. Also, the ability to attract women would be quite nice. I think that's a superpower at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, same. I'm pretty much spunking dust now.
Oh, tell me about it.
So thank you for those, Robbie. Well done.
Well done, Robbie. You are on the good list.
Toby.
Who?
Toby.
Yeah, we know. I love how you said that. Toby. Toby.
Fuck you.
Toby.
Sorry. Toby.
Fuck you, more can be. What did he call it? What did fucking camera call
did
it?
he call it more can be?
Can be.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's not more cum." He's such a fuck boy,
he just wants it.
the bukkake.
That's
bitch.
what he wants. It's all he wants. He says, you've watched a lot of weird matches in your wrestling, e.g. the kaiju match. If you could design a special match or event, be it cosplay or some other mad stipulation, what would it be?
Oh, fucking hell. We could be here a while. Do you know,
when I read that before, go on.
Wrestling has pretty much done everything. And that's what makes that difficult. I think I'd love to see. So, me personally, if it's something I was going to work with, I'm desperate to do a cinematic style match. You know, like The Undertaker and AJ Styles had that Boneyard match. I want to record something like that. I reckon I could truly, because I reckon my quality of filming, my quality of work could produce something truly spectacular that a lot of people could enjoy. We seem to have just gone straight away from it now because of COVID. I understand that, but I actually think there's still a place for that. And I think we should have more. I think more companies, especially if you're, for instance, IWE that I work for, CWP, insert all these companies I work for only do maybe like 3 or 4 shows a year. You could fill the gaps by just recording like cinematic matches, releasing them, having storylines play out in cinematic. A good example of that was Lucha Underground, which was kind of, very sort of heavy, it was based in like, South Los Angeles, very Latin American feel, Aztec kind of stuff going on. But they did a lot of cool cinematic stuff where, like, for instance, Jeff Cobb, who was the monster, he would like be in a cage all the time. He'd be locked up with a mask and stuff like that. And they'd have all these cool promos, not like these silly backstage promos where it's like Hulk Hogan, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Like, it was actually properly filmed like a TV series, and you were like, oh, it was very special. That's something I want to see more of. So I couldn't necessarily design a specific match, but I'd like to be able to design and film my own cinematic style wrestling match. I think something very cool, like a wrestling match that takes place in like a derelict mental hospital or something, would be fucking amazing. Something like that.
That'd be good.
Because I think the graveyard shit's overdone and the Undertaker stuff is too cliched. Yeah. I want to go somewhere a bit darker, like a dark carnival. I'd love to do House of 1,000 Corpses, but for wrestling.
Nice. I like that.
I want to really test the boundaries of what wrestling can be. I'm sick and tired of people just doing the simple, boring shit. Like, don't get me wrong, it works, and if it works and you make money, good for you. But for me, I'm not just a wrestler or a wrestling videographer. I'm an artist. I truly believe that. And people will be like, "Oh, you're an artist." It's like, yeah, I'm not a good one, but like I'm very artistic, and I want to create shit, and I want to push the boundaries. Autistic, yes, very autistic. I'm a tortured autistic. And what happens is extremely tortured at this point, mentally and physically. But please, women, just touch me at this point. But yeah, it's that thing of I can't stand being stagnant. I can't do it. I can't just stay there and be like, that's cool, I'm done. And Frankie Kazarian said this in the car, because Toby will know this, because Toby was in the car with us. He said something which was beautiful. He said, because Toby asked him, do you watch your matches back? Bearing in mind, Frankie Kazarian's wrestled literally everywhere for 25 years. He's had WWE tryouts, he's done dark matches, he's been the AEW Tag Team Champion, he's in Impact, he's everywhere. And he said, fuck no, not for 12 years, because I'm just like everyone else who's successful in this business. I can never, ever find greatness in my work. I am always looking for the next thing. And he said, it's weird. He said, you could have a 17-star Meltzer Classic and you'll find that one move that you didn't hit as well as you would like, and you will fucking drive yourself crazy over it. And we're all wired like that. So for me, people are always saying to me, I'm very blessed. A lot of people say to me, yo, you've done some fucking incredible work in this business. That fucking looks good. Look at these still shots. Look at what you fit. Look at the way you're updating the graphics. You're changing the game. That's what I'm desperate to do. I want to be known as the guy who changed the game and modified it and evolved it and opened more doors for people. I don't think videographers in wrestling should just be a guy holding a camera. I don't think there should be just some random fat guy standing behind a hard cam. They should be something more than that. They should be artists that are looking to create cinematography. I think wrestling should look like a movie. I think wrestling posters should look like movie posters. I'm sick and tired of, don't get me wrong, put live professional wrestling on it so people know what it is. but don't make these. You know what I'm talking about? These carnival posters are like, and then it's just got a load of clowns or whatever, and it just looks like cheap, nasty gypsy circus shit. And that's not what I'm about. I want wrestling to look as good as the movies do, because we now all have access to the technology to do that. And a fine example of that, you've met him from the first show, Troy Grant, an absolute cinematographer masterpiece. Like, that guy is changing the game. We've seen the stuff he was doing backstage with Lizzie Uvo and Cara Noir and all this. He puts on his Twitter, and you think that's got some emotion, some mood, some energy to it. That's what I want wrestling to be. Not just a piece of shit, not just standard crap. Yeah, sure. I'm the fat guy who stands behind the hard cam sometimes. Well, I don't stand behind the hard cam and do Roman, but you know what I mean. Just the bare minimum isn't good enough. It's never good enough. None of us should strive for the bare minimum. We should all strive for the maximum. And not many of us are doing that. And I find that disappointing. And maybe that's why wrestling is struggling, because not enough people want to make it more than what it is.
Mine was electric.
What? Electric?
Yeah.
What, like an electric cage or?
No, an electric cage would do, but electrified floor. So any pins will be fucking painful and shit.
So you get electrocuted every time you take a pinfall?
Yeah.
Have you seen the electric cage match from TNA?
No.
Watch Along City. It's the Dudleys versus LAX. And the whole point is that the cage is electrified, but it's clearly not. So the classic circus, like, when you go to the arcade down by the seafront and they've got the skeleton with the electric.
Yeah.
So every time they hit the cage, Devon Dudley's like, and the lights start flickering, and it's fucking horrendous. It's regarded as one of the worst matches in the history of wrestling. And when you see
but they need to actually electrify it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Yeah. The only thing that strikes me personally for that a little bit close to home is obviously horses have electrified fences. So and I always feel so sad for them, because it doesn't hurt them. It's a very low shock, but it's enough to deter.
Yeah, but they're humans, so who gives a fuck?
Yeah, that's true. So no horses in wrestling.
I genuinely don't think horses are real. I just think it's two guys in a suit and they're taking the piss.
I mean, to be fair, Craig Ferguson has convinced me that two men in a suit is a real horse.
No, I genuinely don't think it's real.
Horses are incredible.
I think all horses are pantomime horses, and no one can.
Not having that.
And I've even seen the poem where a horse fucks a woman, and I don't believe that's real either.
Oh, I just did. Do you know what? I found that quite harrowing. Didn't like that.
I think it's not nice, but
I actually found it really uncomfortable. The urban myth is that she died.
Well, you will do. It's that big, but I think.
Unacceptable. I work with horses on a daily basis. I don't like it.
Well, stop doing it then, and you'll.
Oh, I love horses. I just don't want to watch fucking women being raped to death by a horse.
But again, I don't think it's real. I think there are two dudes in a suit with a fire hose, and that's all it is.
I don't. Do you know what? I don't have the energy to explain to you how dumb you are.
Tanvir says, "Hello, you beauties, you." I have a couple
all right,
of questions.
You're on the list. Well done.
Nix, would you ever considering doing video photography for events outside of wrestling, as you are a very talented individual? And we've spoken about it on the podcast before, haven't we?
What a suck up. Great. Look, fucking tidy your room and we'll talk. First of all, it's and second of all, GIMP.
No, sorry, it's
we call it, yeah, in my case, it's like rolling a doob. I absolutely would and will be. I have a wedding and a music festival booked in for September of this year, which is fucking awesome. I actually would love to not necessarily get away from wrestling entirely, but I'd like wrestling to be kind of the minor work that I do. I'd actually like to.
You want to work with minors?
You're being very difficult this evening.
They're not, right? I don't know if they're about anymore because, we don't have coal mines and stuff.
He's good, isn't he? He's good. It's a classic misdirection. Yeah. See, I'm on.
You thought you were talking about fucking kids.
Of course I fucking did. Spent way too much time talking about kids earlier as well. It's disgusting is what it is. You should be ashamed of yourself. And you've got the pass, haven't you? Because you've got kids. So you can make jokes like that.
Yeah. Go on.
Coming to the front page of the Morecambe Gazette one day near you, Silent Mark. The man who thinks Chris Benoit and Logan Paul are the same.
No, they're not the same. Logan Paul is worse than Chris Benoit.
It's not true. That is hyperbole of the highest order. Yeah, I'm desperate to do anything and everything creative. So people are going to be like, of course you want to do this because you're a perv. Maybe there's a part of it. Do you know what? I see, like, for instance, I was talking to Jessie, right, on Sunday. Obviously, we love Jessie, right? And she was saying that, like, she's a bit bored and stuff like that. I said, I'd love to, somebody like her who I genuinely like and care about and, hope that she would trust me as well. I'd love to do like videography when she's doing like modeling shoots. I think it'd be really cool to like film documentaries of that or film just like really cool portfolio things so that she could send them off to people and be like, yeah, Aeron Nix filmed this beautiful, reel of, my modeling and stuff like that. You could get beautiful shots of her, like when she goes to Ibiza and things like that. I'd love to do festivals. I'd love to do, I'm not up against the idea of recording high-end OnlyFans content. It doesn't have to be. Thing is, you say OnlyFans, people are like, it's just fucking. It's actually not. Like, I don't personally subscribe to Nadia Sapphire's
It
OnlyFans.
Can be.
Yeah, it fucking can. Do you know what? If someone openly approached me and said, we'd like to genuinely pay you a good wage to film porn in a really high, I would do so. And I would not have an issue doing it. Like, I don't feel like my skills are above something like that. I actually like the idea of bringing that up to a cinematic level. I think that's cool.
Rebecca Goodwin is fucking amazing at that because a lot of her parody stuff is very well shot. She puts a lot of effort into her bullshit. It's fucking amazing.
I want to be able to do everything and anything because I only get one go around. And also, on a very serious note, I have safeguarding. I have DBS checks. I'm extremely trustworthy when it comes to risque photography or videography. It's very tastefully done. It's handled well. Like, people are safe in my vicinity. It's that thing. And the reason I have those things is so that I can prove that to people that they are working with a fucking professional. Like, people watch it because it's funny. I do get this a lot. People worry about booking me based on the personalities they see online. They are terrified. And then they all say the same thing. Fuck me. What a consummate professional on show day. Like, and it's just like, yeah, because I pride myself on professionalism. So I'm very fiery, very passionate. That's why I got picked up for Coliseum. And I'm very proud of that. And their tweet they put out earlier today was very flattering. It was like striking gold when we found Aeron Nix. And it's that thing of, don't just buy into what you see. Have a chance to sit down and read the person and talk to them in person. You'd be surprised just how cool people can be. Like Logan Paul, for instance, lovely guy off of YouTube.
No, it's not. He's a cunt.
Why do you hate Logan Paul so much?
Because he's a cunt.
He's actually a nice lad. Good for him. He's made a lot of money for himself, and I'm very proud of you, Logan.
I think he deserves AIDS. He also says for both.
No one deserves that. That's horrible, especially after what we've been talking about with that community.
Who are you? Who are some of your favorite actors? Like, when you see them in an upcoming movie, you're immediately attracted to.
I'm going to upset some people here. Tom Cruise, incredible actor. I am tired of people
always the same.
Can we stop pretending like just because he's a bit nutty and does Scientology that he can't act? That's nonsense. John Travolta, right? Living legend. He's a fucking Scientologist. He's bananas. But I don't go to watch them because based on their religious theories. I go to watch them because they're good at what they do. Tom Cruise, right, has a fucking portfolio of films a mile long that are instant classics. A Few Good Men is incredible. Cocktail is incredible. Top Gun is incredible. Minority Report is incredible.
You say Top Gun's incredible.
Yo, you watch your fucking whore mouth, okay? I've tolerated
overrated
a lot of bollocks from you today. I've tolerated a lot of shit. But if you run down Top Gun, I will fucking drive to Morecambe and fuck you in the eye. Like, fuck you. Top Gun is a fucking classic, mate.
Overrated movie.
You're overrated. In every sense.
And I'm not even rated. No, it is. It's overrated. But I agree. Tom Cruise, very good actor. Very,
incredible
very good
film. Jerry Maguire, amazing. Like,
in the last 10 years or so, he's always played the same character, but it's a case of if it's not broke, why fix it? You know, you're going to
Genuinely though,
watch Tom Cruise run and jump off things. Who gives a shit?
I do like the Family Guy joke about how the reason he's running in all of his films is because he's running away from his gay thoughts.
Yeah,
which is a very fascinating theory.
Yeah.
No, it's
well, there's the South Park episode, isn't there? Trapped in the closet.
yeah. There's some stuff that's a bit on the nose there. There's
But no,
loads.
the
To be fair,
beautiful thing was they turned around, and the joke at first on the show was that one of them would just say that he's a bit gay, and they went, "No, you can't say that." I goes, "Oh, well, what if we just insinuate that he's gay?" He goes, "No, you can't say that either." I went, okay, what if
is he
we
gay?
put him in a closet? No, but people think he is. There's a
Is
theory
that not?
that he might be.
Is that not denigrating the LGBTQ community by doing that though?
Probably.
Is it not? Is it not slightly hypocritical to be banging on about being allies, but then fucking ridiculing someone who's probably not gay for being gay? Does that not denigrate? Because what you're essentially saying is that it's a negative.
No, disagree with that.
I don't. That's what they're doing. Because you're mocking the gay community.
No, they're not mocking the gay community. They're mocking someone who is not wanting to be themselves.
But he is himself, isn't he? What proof do we have that he's not himself?
There isn't. He's taking the mick out of a person, not a community.
I just think, yeah, but I just think that it's kind of, you're very dangerously close to that line.
No, but I agree. But then again, it's punching up. It's punching up to a person.
Like if I'm a gay person and I watch that, like for instance, right, loads of jokes about terrorists, right? Now, I find it funny despite being Arab and despite being from a Muslim family. But at the same time, I have young sisters and family members who do find it a little bit uncomfortable. And it's that thing of, why is that any different from that?
It's not different at all. But you've got to, it's the audience you're with and how.
Tanvir has dragged us right back in.
Yes, it's what I was saying before about the context and about the feelings and thoughts behind the joke. With the Tom Cruise thing, like taking the mick out of someone because they're gay, the lowest hanging fruit in the world ever. Taking the mick out of someone that will purposefully avoid jokes about their sexuality. That's kind of funny.
But are we not worried? Like, for instance, he could be closeted, he could be struggling, in which case all of a sudden it goes from, you're making assumptions, but you don't know. It's not a case of me, but like, I'm not personally offended at all by it. But I'm sitting there thinking, is it not valid? Like, if for instance, if a member of the gay community comes up to me and says, oh, that just makes me feel uncomfortable. It's like all of a sudden, it's like we're having a different conversation.
Yeah. But all you can do at that point is apologize to them and explain the context of the joke.
And say to them that Tom Cruise deserves to be ripped because he's a multimillionaire, basically. Do you think there's validity to us ripping on people of that ilk because they're so rich it shouldn't matter?
Again, it depends on why you're ripping on them.
Who else? What about you, actors wise? There's loads I have. What about yourself? Anyone you can't miss?
It's a difficult one because I can't think of any names.
Bing Rames is one that I love, who's I think is massively underrated. You might recognize him.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, you love Ryan Reynolds, don't you? Got a massive art on for him. By the way,
Wrexham. But I've been a fan of his.
All these people celebrating Wrexham going are really pissing me off now. They're acting like it's it's such a massive achievement. Yeah, massive achievement when you got Ryan Reynolds whopping great fucking bank backing you. And everyone's like, what a great advertisement for lower league football. No, what a great advertisement for money. Shut your mouths. Lincoln City won the conference, and they did a lot more in that season, by the way, by winning the conference and going back up. They were the first non-league team in over 100 years to get to the FA Cup quarter-final. when they faced Arsenal. That's a big fucking deal. And not barely a peep in the media. But because Ryan Reynolds is attached to Wrexham, all of a sudden it's a big deal. And it's like, do you know what? I personally think that's denigrating to lower league football. I think it hurts it more in the long run.
Get over yourself. Because
I'll tell you what. I'm ready. I will fight a bitch. I'm ready for this shit. Come on. Fucking, you want to go?
I can see what you mean. I can see what you mean. I really can. On the other hand, again, grey area. You've got a team that was on the verge of not being around anymore because of their financial worries.
As well.
And two people turning around and going, you know what? Let's just fucking put some money in. Not only did they save the team, they got a new fan base for the team, which means they got a new fan base for non-league football.
So basically what you're saying is their fans are fakes because they only support them because of Ryan Reynolds. So they're a bunch of plastics is what they are.
So do you think that a fan of someone's work because they suddenly see them, like with bands, for example, would you say that someone's a fake fan of a band like Blink-182 or like Ice Cube or someone like that, who they've been playing music for years, but now because they're huge, you've only just heard of them? Would you say they're fake fans?
See what you're doing. You're going for the gatekeeping. So for me, the issue here is that I don't have a problem with people becoming Wrexham fans for anything. They could just, I don't know, maybe they like the smell of the hot dogs and like, oh, I like to stay here. Cool, whatever. Doesn't matter to me. If you're supporting the club, that's cool. But don't try and pretend like you're the only fucking lower league team to ever achieve something. And this is what fucks me off, is that the mainstream media want to make this out to be such an historically amazing thing. They televised it, didn't they? Like, all these matches they've televised because it's a celebrity club. What I worry is that overriding arc of we're a celebrity club run by huge megastars in cinema, what that does is then creates a shocking disparity for the other non-league clubs who achieve. So say, I don't know, who's in the conference right now who's not going up. I don't know, Eastleigh. All right, say Eastleigh win the National League next season. Are they going to get the same amount of coverage? No. Where's the equality?
Do you know that?
Yes, I do. Because they're not run by Ryan Reynolds. Because history has dictated that. Because, okay, who won the National League last year?
I don't know. But again, I don't know football. I know.
You know why you don't know? Because, but ultimately, I guarantee if I ask the overwhelming majority of casual football fans or just an audience of sport who won the National League last year, nobody will be able to tell you. Everyone will be able to tell you Wrexham won. Now, in some ways, that is good because it is shining a light on it. But it's for the wrong reasons. So what happens is all of a sudden, for me, it's about, so for 100 plus years, nobody's given a shit who wins the National League conference, whatever it's called. I like calling it conference because I'm old school, I know. And yet, this year, all of a sudden, it's a big deal because Ryan Reynolds is attached. And what it does is, again, it pays into this idea that football is much more important when it has money and celebrities in it. And I don't think that's a healthy line of thinking. I just don't.
I'm going to piss you off.
Support Morecambe because they have a high-profile owner.
Fuck no.
Exactly.
I support Morecambe because I live here.
I support Lincoln City because I was born there. Because it's my local football team. Because I have that attachment to it. I don't support Lincoln because, by the way, we have Landon Donovan for what that's worth as a technical director, right? I have no idea why. Just randomly rocked up. Mind if I work at Lincoln? Sure, I guess. Nobody's going to argue with Landon Donovan. But it's that thing of, I don't support Lincoln because of that. I get that more people are going to support something because it's successful, and I don't. Like, for instance, I love Puddle and Mud, right? The band, years and years and years ago before they were remotely commercial. I didn't turn around to people when they became relatively successful off of 2 songs, let's be real. Save Me Drowning Pool as well. I didn't become, I don't turn around and think, oh, you only liked them, because they're in the mainstream. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that the overwhelming majority of lower league football is only taken seriously if a celebrity gets involved. Because you don't have every other major league of football without the grassroots. Take all the grassroots away, football's fucked.
I'm going to piss you off again.
You're going to fucking shit on grassroots football, aren't you?
You're just bitter.
Why am I bitter? We're in League One. We're doing okay.
Because when you were a supporter of a non-league football club, you didn't get that.
I tell you what, you are absolutely 100% bang on. I am slightly bitter, especially, but more so, not at Wrexham, but for like the cup run pissed me off the most. So BBC, a couple of years ago, released a list of the top 10 greatest upsets in FA Cup history. Lincoln was not in there. Lincoln in the conference knocked Burnley out of the 5th round of the FA Cup 5 or 6 years ago. And you know, to put it in context, Burnley beat Chelsea the week before, and then they lost to Lincoln City in their own gaff with their full strength team out against a team that was worth about 50 grand. Like, fucking half our players have to work full time to supplement at the time, at least. And it's that thing of, why have we not been covered? But you've still put in that. I swear to God, every year, you know, the bolt from the blue, Hereford, the one where Hereford won in like the 70s with that long resurrection. Nobody's taken that away from Hereford. And by the way, good for that team that's, you know, resurrected itself again. But it's what frustrates me is we laud so strongly. Oh, look at what Wrexham are doing! What amazing stuff. Nobody gave a fucking shit when Bury went out of business. Hundreds of people lost their livelihoods. Thousands of fans lost their football team entirely.
It wasn't a national thing, yeah. But
nobody gave a shit that Bury went out of business.
No.
Nobody gave a shit.
No, they didn't have a
team that could have been saved on 1 week's wages of a Premier League footballer. That's really sad.
Yeah.
If I'm a Premier League footballer, you know what? For all the fucking hyperbole I gave earlier about money and things like that, if I was like, say, Cristiano Ronaldo, I would have just been like, yo, have this. It is not worth it. Like, you know, I'm making what, 67 million pounds a year. Here's $500,000 to save your football club, because it's literally peanuts in the grand scheme of things.
The thing is, those people didn't have.
By supporting Wrexham, you're a capitalist.
There were at the end of the day, none of these people had 2 idiots who thought it'd be funny to buy a football team together. Their passion and love for the club now is something that's huge.
I don't personally think they give a shit. I think it's just a play thing. Also, do you know what? You want a real hot take? Ryan Reynolds, right, is not a good actor anyway. He can't act. He's shit. He's not a good actor.
He always plays him.
He's funny.
He always plays him.
He's funny, but he's not a good actor. He ain't got any range. Like, Deadpool is easily his best film. Easily. He's in a fucking mask. Like,
no, Van Wilder.
Oh, fuck off.
Great fucking film.
Atrocious film.
No, it's great.
Terrible film.
Anyway,
you know what? What is your obsession with Ryan Reynolds anyway? Do you just want to? Have you got this big man?
I've been a fan of his since.
What about Blade Trinity? Have you seen Blade Trinity? The third Blade film that
yeah. It was shit.
The highlight of that is him
was
having
funny
a
in it
with Triple H.
Yeah. He was funny in it. That's all I need. I was a fan of his since a show called Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. And I found him fucking hilarious then. And I've just enjoyed his career since then.
Well, he should be a fucking stand-up then and grow up.
But again, all this is bitterness. This is bitterness, mate.
This is truth, and you just can't handle it, mate.
The problem is you're looking at it as if the BBC and shit like that are the end game.
But they are for the overwhelming majority, because we've made them that way.
But
where do you watch your football on? What do you watch football
on? Either at the club or I follow. I don't watch it on TV because they don't.
Because I can't afford Sky Sports. But
they don't get TV coverage. So Morecambe don't get TV coverage, so I buy it separately.
Why shouldn't they though?
But the thing, because who gives a shit?
But if we're gonna say Morecambe don't get TV coverage because, you know, they're shit or whatever, that's one thing. But let's be honest, Morecambe don't get TV coverage because they ain't a fancy club with celebrity running. Wrexham gets TV coverage because of Ryan Reynolds, not because they're Wrexham.
No,
that's what pisses. I think that's what really pisses me off the most. they're not getting coverage because of what they're doing, which is amazing. They're getting coverage because of Ryan Reynolds. Because if they had exactly the same season but didn't have Ryan Reynolds at the helm, nobody would give a fuck. They wouldn't. They would not have got this coverage. But they should have, because it's still an amazing achievement.
But does it matter?
Yes, it does. It does to people because I'm passionate about football, so it matters to me. It doesn't have to matter to you.
But you're saying as if the coverage is the thing that matters.
Well, the coverage does matter because ultimately, if you don't see it, it's not in the perceptions of reality.
Which is why Ryan Reynolds doing it is a positive thing. Because do you know how many more fans have gone to non-league club games?
I bet they've only gone to Wrexham ones. I doubt. Like, for instance, but then, if that's the case, don't put out on your social medias and brag about how you've got the highest turnout in lower league of all the clubs. Of course you fucking have, because you've got Ryan Reynolds, you idiots, because you're always on TV. You don't get that turnout. Again, you're not in the mainstream media.
You're missing the point. You are totally missing the point.
That is the point.
You are. No, because the clubs will and have got more fans going to their games because of it.
Exactly.
They may not get the same. They may not get the same every single week.
Why can't we give that mainstream media to other clubs? You're telling me that Sky Sports and BT Sport don't have enough time slots to cover a couple more clubs in the lower leagues and shine a light?
I will put it another way. Why don't Sky Sports do pay-per-view for a Rumble show?
Because they don't know about it.
But would they? If you took someone from Sky Sports to a Rumble show?
At this point, well, I will say one thing. We have been pushing for a TV contract.
Yeah, but would it be pay-per-view Sky Sports?
It can be. Why shouldn't it be? Would be my question. Do you not think it's good enough to be on TV?
I've never seen a show.
Well, that's your
my
problem,
point is, do you think every single match, every single club, all up and down the country should all have the same amount of time?
Absolutely.
On TV?
Yeah, I do. I'm not saying that that's ever going to happen. I know that's a massive pipe dream, and many people say that's.
Are you as upset? Are you as upset that Arsenal get more televised games than Lincoln?
Yes.
Are you as upset?
Because I want to see my team.
Then why haven't you had that big conversation?
I have.
Okay, I won't even do them. Are you as upset that there is a Chelsea game on TV and not a Morecambe game?
Yes. I would desperately love to watch more Morecambe games so I can give you shit more than anything else. But I'd love to.
I'm sorry. Who won on Saturday? Who won on Saturday, mate?
Yeah, one game.
Who won on Saturday?
Mate. Look at the table. Look at the table.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fine.
You're fighting for your lives.
I'm quite happy that we're going down.
Hey, good for you. You won. You may still have a potential of staying up. I don't know if it's mathematically possible or not. I have no idea. Are you officially down, or have you still got a chance?
Yeah, I think as long as we win and MK Dons lose, I think we're fine.
Who are you playing last game?
Which could happen. Barnsley.
Oh, actually, aren't they set now? They're in the playoffs. I don't care. You got to hope they put a rest of the team for the playoffs.
Yeah, we're hoping that. But you are talking bollocks that you're as upset that Morecambe don't get more. Don't get as many. I don't think
it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to make an argument for every team getting coverage. I don't think that's a bad, because that's what I'm essentially arguing.
They should, and in the grand scheme of things,
I shouldn't have to pay £10 to watch a dodgy stream on iFollow. It shouldn't be that hard. Bearing in mind, like for instance, Amazon and some of these other stream platforms have proven that you can do this. They show every single game, and you can have the option of which stream you tune into. Why is it that hard for them to do that for lower league football teams? Because they're not as glamorous and don't make as much money.
But there we go. That's where it is.
Yeah, but that's
where.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think I'm talking bollocks for wanting small clubs to have some exposure. I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, it would be fucking amazing. But my thing about you talking bollocks is you're upset that Ryan Reynolds has got a popular team.
I'm not upset that Ryan Reynolds has a popular team. I'm upset that is the driving force for why they're popular. I think that's what annoys me, because for instance, are we going to say that, you know, Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds the reason that Wrexham is successful? To a certain degree, yes, because he put the money in. Although apparently, someone told me the other day it's all loans or something. I have no idea what that means. So for me, it's more frustrating that the media will only latch on to success if it has the allure of a celebrity. I don't think that's fair. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's fair on. So, for instance, it's not just Lincoln, all the teams that have won the National League and done it. I remember when Aldershot went up. What a massive achievement. Fucking Aldershot. Has anyone ever been there? Shit, what a toilet. Their football club is fucking literally like, it's fucking tiny. At one point, they had like 200 people going to their games. They got out of the conference with the smallest budget you've ever seen, right? Incredible. They got into League Two. Not a peep. But if they'd had a celebrity, they would have got it. Why is their achievement less just because they don't have Ryan Reynolds?
And we go back to gatekeeping.
But it's not, is it? Like, if anything, you're the one gatekeeping by saying you need to put a celebrity in place for it to be important.
No, you don't. You really don't.
Everything but that's what they're doing. That's what mainstream TV is essentially saying is, without a celebrity, you're not important enough for us to talk about you, even if you do the same thing. A team next season, like I say, in Eastleigh, could win the conference with the same amount of points, with the same amount of fucking quality of football, with the same amount of fans, and no one will give a shit because Ryan Reynolds isn't there.
But then your target's wrong. Because this conversation started because this
conversation was meant to be, who do we like as actors, not why is Wrexham pissing Nix off.
But all this was started off with you going, if you're a Wrexham fan now because of Ryan Reynolds, you're scum, right?
I didn't say they were scum. It's a bit much.
You know what I mean.
Bit much.
You know what
See what I mean? You're twisting it to make your narrative sound more special.
Okay, then what was your problem in the first place?
My point is the argument I've just said. I don't appreciate.
No. In the first instance, when we first had this conversation,
there are a lot of plastics that love Wrexham for the wrong reasons. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I stand by that. You should not support.
No, I'll agree with that.
You should not support a football club because the celebrity's in charge of it. That's bullshit.
But again,
what happens when he fucks off and they collapse? If he fucks off, right? And the other guy who I've never heard of, who was apparently quite famous. Honestly, I don't know who he is.
Have you never seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No, because that is a really shit TV series that is massively overrated, and I'm tired of people telling me how great it is. Because
how can you do that? How can you go, no, I've never seen it, it's massively overrated?
No, I have seen it. I haven't watched it like ad nauseum. I watched like the first series and thought it was trash. Don't find it funny at all. I think the only thing I find funny about it is Danny DeVito's character, who for me is quite hilarious. But other than that, like, it's just, I don't get why it keeps going.
I could get really finickety with that. He wasn't in it till the second series, so how could you have seen?
Well, I've obviously seen episodes of him in. I don't know. I'm not that invested.
My point is, he was in that.
Okay, so that's where he's got his fame from, I assume, is that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So good for him. Good for him. Like, he's made money. Like, I don't have an issue with Ryan Reynolds and his mate being successful for making money off of acting. Good for you, man. Make your coin. What frustrates me, the bottom line of my argument is, do not act as if they're a bigger deal because of that, because they're not. They're just not. They're a big deal because of the people that have worked hard on the pitch. When was the last time you saw anyone say, congratulations to Wrexham's incredible left back or centre half or goalkeeper, whatever it might be? They don't care. They don't care. Don't act like you care because they're a good football team, which is what they are. You care because they have a celebrity there. The same reason no one gave a shit about LA Galaxy until David Beckham turned up.
Yeah.
Now, is it good? In some ways, yes, because it does shine a light on them. So I'm not saying it's a complete trash bag of a theory, because it does help. But at the denigration of everyone else, for me, it's not worth it. I don't think it's worth putting them on that pedestal enough, because it's not going to help. Is them and their success and having Ryan Reynolds be on, does that therefore make more money for all the other teams around them in the lower leagues? No. Does it shine? Well, yeah, again, because otherwise they'd all be fucking having more money and having access to better players, wouldn't they?
Would they? No. So there will be a correlation between them starting to make money. They're not going to make fucking thousands from it. They're not going to make millions from it. They'll make some. because some people will go in the first place because they'll want to go and see Wrexham because they're now popular. But then they'll stay because they're like, I really enjoyed that. I'm going to go to the next game. I've got nothing.
Are they though? Are they going to stay? Do you have any proof of that?
Do you have any proof that
what happens if they go up to League Two and they finish 17th next season, even with Ryan, and then all of a sudden
they finish 17th next
season?
Again, exactly. Bear in mind, they have owned the team for 2 years. So they've owned the team for 2 years. It wasn't just this year that they've owned it. They have owned that team for 2 years.
No, but it's fair to say that from the moment they went in the doors, there was a much bigger spotlight on this club than there ever was.
Of course that was. But that can only be a positive for the club because more people through the door. More people through the door. The likelihood of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney fucking off and people staying is much more likely.
Not buying that.
100% aren't going to stay. 100% are not going to stay.
Maybe I'm cynical. I feel like a large portion of fans will leave or will not be interested because ultimately people stay for success.
Mm-hmm. People don't just stay for success. They stay for the big games. So an average Morecambe crowd back in the day was about 2,500. When they got the big clubs there, it went up to 5,000-6,000. And then it went back down to 2,000.
But the problem is that it's not sustainable. For instance, right, Lincoln's Cup run. Of course, thousands more people wanted to see Lincoln play, right? Like, we took 9,000 to Arsenal. Took 28,000 to the Checker Trade, Papa John's, Gimp Trophy, whatever it's fucking called. Like, it's that thing of, that's good in the moment. But for instance, right, Lincoln, right, have the lowest operating budget in League One right now. Now, people are like, but the only reason you got to League One is because you won the FA Cup. And yet, we're staying there with a very low budget again. Because that money will disappear eventually. It does. It's just the way it is. And also, I remember the Cowleys coming out and saying, what you forget is the players get massive bonuses and things like that. Like, actually, like, all that money doesn't just all of a sudden automatically, right, we're going to be in Champions League in 6 years. It's not what happens.
But if the club's ticking over with the fans that go there, if you get more fans going,
it's great for Wrexham. Nobody's arguing that. I've never argued the point that it's not helping Wrexham make more money because it absolutely is, and good for them if they're making more money. But
a lot of people will still stay there when they leave because the reason they go isn't because they might see that. It's one reason quite a few people will go.
The overwhelming amount of money that's made in football is TV money. I think that's fair to say, right? I think that's fair.
Yeah, definitely.
So
my point isn't about that bit though. My point is about the fans that go there because that's what we started talking about.
My point is good for Wrexham for getting all that TV money for having the star power and that. Good for them. But again, no other National League club is going to make a fraction of that TV money, not because they're good, but because solely they don't have Ryan Reynolds on board.
But again, you're not listening to me because I'm not talking about TV money. I'm talking about the fans that go there because that's what we started talking about.
Yeah, but that's only one portion of every. Like, it's all encompassing at the end of the day. It's a business.
That's not what you started talking about, though.
No, but the argument isn't just one point, is it? Which is why this discussion has gone on for a number of minutes, dare say almost an hour, because it's that reason of it's not just one thing. Yeah, it's great that you're arguing from the fans' sake. Yeah, absolutely. It's hard for me to argue that it's not great for the fans, obviously, because it is. But my argument isn't just about the fans, and it wasn't just that even from the beginning. Because I'd made the point very much from the get-go of how come we don't celebrate other clubs' success that don't have Ryan Reynolds?
No, we should. We should. But it's the same with everything. It's the same with music. It's the same with art. It's the same with comedy.
What's the thing that I argue most, arguably, on all 22 episodes of this podcast has been the idea
you argue so much bullshit.
It's not bullshit to want everyone to have a slice of the pie, though, is it?
No, it's true.
Is it bullshit for everyone to have a slice of success? I don't think that's bad.
Not in the slightest. No, not in the slightest.
Well, you just called it bullshit, so explain yourself, cunt.
No, just you argue that much bollocks that I can't.
I absolutely argue a lot of bollocks because I'm.
What the pinpoint was.
I would rather be passionate and fiery about everyone than not give a shit. That's my overarching kind of mentality with this. And people can say, you're talking bollocks about Wrexham, potentially. But for me, I would rather be impassioned about everyone being successful, which is what I am, especially in, like, you've seen me at wrestling, right? Look at how many opportunities I open up for people. Look how many people I take to shows. That, let's be honest, I don't have to share that. I don't. Or I do, because for me, like, the overwhelming narrative of life is you don't have to share it. But for my narrative, I do. I feel like it's important to give that back to other people. And
so
you know,
do you think someone's, when it comes to things like this, then do you think someone's popularity and someone's success is,
I don't feel like,
can only be tied if they get it the right way?
I truly believe that in this current state of affairs in the world we live in, overwhelmingly, that is how people become successful. Yes, I don't think the hard graft is celebrated enough. It's not, because otherwise,
that's never been the case.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I can't argue that it should be, because it should be. I think SilentMark should be working for Radio 1. I think SilentMark should be everywhere on radio because you're that good. I don't think that's a disputable fucking argument. I don't think that anyone can say to me, SilentMark's not good at radio. Bullshit. Because you're not listening. If you think that. Same reason, for instance, do you think that I should be a videographer or a commentator for Progress or WWE? I certainly believe I have the talent to do so. If I don't make it, that's not necessarily because I haven't got the skills or haven't worked hard enough for it. Sometimes it is purely based on the fact that there is this political hierarchy in a lot of things. And that's my argument, is that needs to be fucking chipped away at so that more people can have an opportunity. There's nothing more depressing than seeing an incredible artist on the streets who's borderline homeless, who can sing and play a guitar like a fucking god. And you're like, what the fuck? And yet I have to listen to Sam Smith parading his fancy ass around all the time. And don't get me wrong, Sam Smith's a very talented artist. But it's that thing of, you can't tell me there's not more room for more people. There's room for a lot more, and we're not allowing those people the opportunity. And again, that comes down to the 1% theory. Isn't just about finances and government, and so it's everywhere. The 1%.
But can you not celebrate the wins?
Ask the 99% of people who do have talent, who don't get an opportunity, whether they can celebrate it as much.
I'm one of them, but we've spoken about it before. People going past us, and are we then bitter about it, or are we supportive about it?
But you've also said yourself on this podcast that you are embittered, and
I'm bitter, but I'm also very supportive of those people.
Well, yeah, well, we both, I think, are on the same bandwagon when it comes to you can be bitter and still celebrate other people's success. So, am I bitter that Lincoln didn't get as much coverage or Morecambe doesn't get? Absolutely, I'm bitter. Absolutely. And that's my problem. I get that. But for me, like, just because I can celebrate the fact that Wrexham have done well doesn't mean that I can't state as well, for me, that it's a problem that other people don't get celebrated when they're successful. Now, if you don't do
I agree with that.
That's an issue. Like, that's another thing entirely. Some people don't want the success, don't work for it. Those people, fuck off. Not interested in you people. That's your problem. If you don't want to work hard enough, fine. So like these people who don't want to work, okay, that's fine. I do. I want to be the best commentator in the world. I'm not happy just being commentator for Coliseum, Rumble, blah, blah. Not saying that I don't love it, because I fucking do. I love those jobs. But I want to be, you know what? I remember when I first got on Coliseum. I don't know if you remember this, but when I was first announced for Coliseum, I remember they put me on the Instagram page, and they said one day people will look at Aeron Nix in the same way they do Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler and the greatest commentators of all time. And for me, that's what I want. I fucking want that. And do you know what? I'm absolutely pissed off that a number of promotions use crap people who have no talent, who haven't worked anywhere, but are happy to ignore the work that I put into our business. Absolutely. I have a huge chip on my shoulder, and I've never tried to pretend that I don't. And that is definitely a me problem. But at the same time, when I meet people who are stupidly successful or stupidly good at something, but don't have the success of it, like yourself, of course I'm fired up that SilentMark doesn't get to fucking work at the highest ends of his business because he's good enough to do so. You shouldn't just be host of Odyssey. You should be host of hundreds of wrestling companies. People should be falling over themselves to have you on their radio stations. Much like, you know what? It's nice of me to actually be able to have the confidence to say it. in this guy, and Coliseum really helped because Sunday was the first time where I truly felt like I belonged in the big fucking stage. I belonged at the big boys table and I was allowed to eat there because I fucking earned that spot. And for me, I think that, yeah, you know what? I'm absolutely bitter and have a huge chip on my shoulder. More companies should be using me. People should be falling over themselves to use me because they know I can make them better. And if they don't have the money for whatever reason, or there's hundreds of excuses. That's cool. But you know what? That doesn't mean that I can't be fucking ferociously passionate about the fact that I should be appreciated more, just like you should. So
I'm very much in your.
But I want other people to be appreciated just as much. When Morecambe went up to League One, that was a big fucking deal. Nobody gave a shit. When Newport got out of the conference, big fucking deal. Nobody gave a shit.
Locally, they really fucking did. They did not stop banging on.
That's lovely to hear.
Morecambe getting out. Yeah, but no, even local news fucking loved it. Absolutely adored it. There wasn't a week went by.
I love that. I love hearing that because communities are still really important, I think, to the lifeblood of what Britain is. But you know what? We have this national spotlight and we have the ability to shine it wherever we please, and they choose not to. And that is a big fucking issue to me.
Yeah. But again, I'm very much
take that to my grave.
And it's why I do. It's why I do the radio show that I do. Because all the bands I play, I play popular people. Yeah, I'll play Blink-182. I was selling out stadiums in 2 minutes. That's absolutely fine. But I'm also going to play the bands that might not get known. I'm going to play a band like Dog Park Dissidents, who are a fucking queercore band, who have a lead singer who dresses like a dog. Right? Yeah, I'm going to play that fucker.
It should be on Eurovision, if nothing else.
There's all sorts that I'm going to play because they're things I like. And it's not. And again, this is where I'm in the grey bit in the middle. It's not because I want to do you've never heard of these people and these. It's because I'm going, fucking look at them. They're great. Have a look. I'm doing it in such an innocent way. I'm doing it like a child showing you a cartoon for the first time, rather than an artist trying to tell you why a painting might be good. I'm very much on that thing. So I'm with you on it. I'm absolutely with you.
Ferocious. It comes down to the bottom line of my argument comes down to I'm extremely passionate and ferociously, aggressively angry. Yes, I know, autistic, all that shit. I am super fiery about. Yeah, I'm bitter. I absolutely am, and I'll tell you why. But I'll tell you what, it's good to be bitter for the little guy sometimes. I think. I think the little guy deserves a fucking opportunity, and I'm never ever going to argue against that. I am always going to be in it. No one's going to shift me off of that fucking pedestal of I'm bitter because I want other people to enjoy success. You know what? I had the best time of my life on Sunday, but it's not as good if people like SilentMark aren't there enjoying that success too because they deserve it as well. So basically, the bottom line is Aubrey's a piece of shit for not booking it. There we go. That's going to get me in heat. Have that. If you've got the opportunity to give other people opportunities, you should fucking well do so. And that's what, and you know what? All these cunts that are running me down online, I'm not going to name people, but they know who the fuck they are. Tell me that I don't fucking give opportunities to everyone else. When you're running me down and saying I'm an unprofessional, cancerous hack online or whatever the fucking shit is that you're throwing out these days, because it seems to be daily. I'm flattered that you think so much of me that you need to run me down on your social media every day. I really am, hun. But at the same time, do you know what? Don't act like I don't fucking do great things for great people and try and help people in this business, because I do. And the proof is in the pudding. Just because I have a fiery opinion that you're upset about. Who's your
in other words,
any other actors you like?
I quite like. I go for more directors, to be honest. Not in a wanky bit, but
a lot of people. I like Tarantino's work, for instance.
Yeah, but I like kind of writer directors. So people like Tarantino and Kevin Smith and that kind of ilk.
Yeah, Michael Mann for me.
Yeah, for me, one of the most underrated films ever is the film The Brooklyn Brothers Beat the Best.
Never heard of it.
Which is, and exactly. And the only reason I heard of it is because I was bored in London and I walked past a cinema and there were two dudes the photo was two dudes sat on a bench, one of them in a moose costume, And the tagline for it, the thing, they have reviews and stuff like that. It said, Flight of the Conchords meets Juno. And I thought, I've got a couple of, I thought, I've got a couple of hours to spare. Why the fuck not? And went to see it. And I have never gone in blind to a film and been that impressed with the outcome.
It's nice to hear.
It was fucking amazing. And they didn't have a huge cast. The biggest person in it was a dude who was in House for a bit.
What the medical series?
Yeah. So in the later series of House, he gets
I really like House.
Investigator. Yeah, it's fucking great.
House MD.
In the later series, he gets a private detective. That's the fella that was in the film.
Oh, okay.
But they don't have a huge fucking cast, but it was written, directed, and starred this dude, and he wrote all the music for it. And the songs are beautiful and fun, and the script itself is fantastic, and there's heartfelt bits, and there's fucking stupid bits as well, and such a good film. They wrote an album of music and released an album of music. They then toured America as the Brooklyn Brothers, showing the film and playing a gig of the music. And again, no one's heard of this fucking film, but it's stunning. I like that type of shit.
Sean Connery was very important to me as well. I used to watch all of his work. I used to love him. Robert Vaughn.
Gene Wilder.
Robert Vaughn was a big deal to me because I love Man from U.N.C.L.E. as a kid. Don't know why my camera's being edgy, but it is. Fucking Robert Vaughn, David McCallum, Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's amazing.
He's great.
Yeah,
Gene Wilder is amazing. Any of the Mel Brooks lot, just fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Any other questions?
He then says, what are some of your dream venues to work in, and any dream people in or out of wrestling that you jump at for the opportunity to work with? Wrestling wise, anywhere big that I would shit myself in and probably make a fool out of myself.
I'm annoyed by my camera. It pisses me off being a technical guy.
Okay. So the first Coliseum show was a bigger venue than I usually do. And I thought, no, I'll go out and be proper professional. And then remembered the state I was in and thought, no, I have to be me. And I think one of the first things I said was, let me address the elephant in the room. I am in a grey shirt on a very, very hot day. So you are going to see sweat.
God, it was.
And then just went, it was a fucking hot day.
Oh, man.
But then I realized that is the type of person that I am. I will go to a big place in the biggest situation in the world ever and just bring it down to my level.
But you never needed to compromise who you were.
No.
That's something I could argue to so many people. Don't compromise who you are because people will see right through it in this business.
Very true. So news yours, and then we'll finish this fucking nearly 3-hour podcast.
It's going on,
and I'm blaming it on Tanvir.
Yeah, if you hadn't asked that stupid question, we wouldn't be here, you idiot. So
yeah,
tidy your room
now. You cunt.
I know I am fucking starving.
Dirty boy.
Dirty boy. I'd love to work the electric ballroom because obviously it's synonymous with progress in Camden. I'm very lucky I get to do great venues. Spotlight for Rumble. I did Conway Hall with Coliseum. We did the Stanley. By the way, Stanley Arts Centre. Wow, what a venue. Yeah, more of that, please. Just use that fucking venue. It's great. I'd love to do the Albert Hall. I think Albert Hall has got. I went to watch NXT there and I thought, holy shit, this place is good for wrestling. And it used to be. Well, the sport used to be in there all the time. Lucha, all kinds of stuff. And I thought, man, I guess it must be cost. It must be astronomical. But yeah, to be a videographer in a place like that, amazing. To work in a place like that, I feel like I'm now finally confident enough to say I'm not scared of walking in front of a crowd and letting them know who the fuck Aeron Nix is. I used to be, even up until maybe this weekend, a little bit of nerves and but you should see me backstage, an absolute pillock of a human being, just like dancing around and doing fucking, just fucking doing this and all this. I was just being a fucking moron. Because I just thought, what is the fucking point of caring about whether people think I look stupid or not? Because I'm going to be dead soon, like we all are. We're all moving towards the morgue. Who fucking cares what some twat box thinks of you? If someone thinks you're an idiot or you're stupid, overwhelmingly, people coming up to me, you're super insane. I had wrestlers who have been in this business 30 years coming up to me after the show saying, if it wasn't for you, the energy of the crowd wouldn't have been the same. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's beautiful to hear. So, Electric Ballroom, Albert Hall, Wembley Stadium, everywhere that's big, everywhere that means something, everywhere that's got an atmosphere. And on the flip side, I love doing fucking community theatres with 50 people because that's the lifeblood of what we do. I love every venue I get to shoot in because it means that I've done something. But yeah, there are dream venues, obviously, and I'd also love to go abroad to some of these cool places like America and stuff. I'd love to do those outdoor amphitheaters in Italy. I think they'd be amazing for like fucking wrestling.
That'd be really good. I'm just going to send you 2 pictures.
Wonderful,
because they go for both sides of me. With when you were talking about you being stupid and not caring how people see you. The first one is me doing it, and the second picture is because I couldn't get in the ring. So I'll send you those, and that's just.
We've all struggled to get into a wrestling ring, by the way.
Yeah.
Like even wrestlers, I've seen them fall out. First photo is just awesome. Lovely. Well taken. Yeah. Who takes photos of these? Who takes these photos?
These guys are Eyes of the Fan.
Great. Usually I've never heard of them before. They should be in more places. Good photography.
Usually it's Tony Knox, but these pictures are taken by Eyes of the Fan.
Man, Tony Knox is special, isn't he?
He's good.
Yeah, him and Matt Raven.
He's good.
From Gravy. I love the second one because it's just unapologetically you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I tried to get on the apron and it's just like I was fumbling all over and he said, nah, sod it, I'll lie here.
This is why I always roll in. I always roll in. Yeah. Like, because people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, first of all, it's funny seeing a 300-pound man go, ooh, like Trent Seven. Yeah. And also, because why the fuck not? Like, because I know what's going to happen if I try and fly out there. I can do the Brock Lesnar thing where he leaps up to the top, but if that goes wrong, like, oh my lord.
I couldn't do that. I'm not coordinated enough for that.
Nah, it's fun. By the way, very quickly before we shoot off, I shall leave you with a list of people here. So, Frankie T, Alex Delanzo, Cameron Anderson, Archie and George Whittle. I'm going to put music over the top of this as well. Archie and George Whittle, Cameron Anderson, Frankie T, Alex Delanzo, Kyle Wilkinson, you no-leg. Daniela. Who else we got in here? SilentMark's obviously exempt. Ebenezer, the full-time my ass geezer. Yeah. Just as a little fucking point of reference, you're all on the shit list for being too lazy. You suckle at the teat of Nix. Nix, make me this. Nix, make me do that. Nix, I love this. Nix, I want this. Nix, I want that. And yet, you are too lazy to use your opposable thumbs to send in an email. So all of you can suck my hieroglyphic hog until otherwise. And I will continue to name and shame you every week until also Sam Oates. I know you're still in that chat, pal. I know you're not a big wrestling fan. I know you got kids and you live in Essex. You are not exempt from putting in a bit into the pot. You know what these people are? They watch the chef. They celebrate him, but they never bring any kind of drink or gift to the party. You lazy little fuckers. You will email or I will shame you until this podcast dies of obscurity, of which it already is in, because you are too lazy to send in an email.
Tune in next week to see how much shit other people are in.
Coming up next week, Alex Delanzo gets strung out in public. By the way, enjoy your holiday, buddy. It's fucking poor cunt's on holiday, and he's like, what the fuck done? It should be pointed out, I love all these people dearly. But until you start sending in questions, you will be shamed, you will be battered, and you will be emotionally exhausted at the hands of the Egyptian death machine. Silent Mark.
And what we'll also do is every week we'll get one name from that, and I will give people a fascinating fact about them that will be derogatory.
Yeah. Steve Neal is exempt because ultimately he has way too much going on, and also because he has gifted so much to the WrestleBlog for years and years. And also Adam Wessex is exempt because he has extraordinarily bad health, and we wish him well in the future. But the rest of you are not exempt. I know that you're healthy. I know you're moving around. I know that you're doing things. I know that you're sitting here masturbating to all kinds of weird fucking porn. What are you doing, stepladder? Tanvir, you dirty butt. Also, I'm sending you the bill for the upholstery of the back seat of my Fiesta, you dirty, dirty little child. Dirty boy.
Did they leave snail trails in the lot?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. They're like, oh, we spilled some garlic mayonnaise. No, you fucking, I know what you're up to. I know what you're doing.
You didn't have a pizza.
Yeah, it's sour cream, but not like the sour cream that I'm thinking of. I'm just sour. Garlic mayonnaise, maggot. You lazy.
Well, I was
3 miles in.
I was hungry. I no longer am.
Yeah, I was really hungry for my Morley's fried chicken, and then when I saw fucking Tanvir scratching the disc, hammering away at the upholstery, I was like, nope, I'm not interested in that delicious coating of fatty goodness.
I wonder what his ass looks like going up and down.
Like a beautiful brown boy. I mean, like the ones in the sea.
Dude.
All right.
Right.
All right.
You want to get... we're going now.
Says Mr. Miners.
Thank you for listening.
There. Yeah.
Thank you for listening. It is appreciated.
No, because most of the people who are listening can't be asked to fucking get in touch, you lazy cunts. You got an email. It's silentdeathmachine@gmail.com. You got S&DM pod on Twitter. You're lazy. Is what you are. You're fucking, but they're all be like, Nix, can I get a bucket? Oh, Nix, can I jump in a car with you so I can see Frankie Kazarian again? Oh, please, Nix, can I do this? Can I do that? Oh, can I join the blacklist, Nix? Fuck you, lazy cunts. Lazy, all of you. Fucking lazy. You're peasants. What you are. You all live around my castle. I let you in. I let you have dinner, and you don't even bring a box of wine, which I don't even like because wine's for gimps. Disgraceful.
Next week on the show, Nix will be just as bitter.
I'm always going to be bitter. It's who I am.
And I will be just as playful because
you
what I do.
You're bitter.
I shall be tickling the taint of the Egyptian death machine.
And while he's tickling my taint, I will be uppercutting all of you and yours for being lazy gobshites.
Like that.
Not happy.
Thank you for listening. This has gone on long enough.
Not long enough.
And
people need to know how lazy they are.
Mate, it's nearly 3 hours.
I would say Aaron Cruz as well, but I kicked him out in the group chat because he never contributes to lazy little gimp. Looking like a prepubescent fuck boy watching NSYNC. Grow up.
I thought you'd already mentioned Cameron Anderson.
I mean, they're one and the same, aren't they? They're interchangeable, these kids.
White boys, they always are. They all look the same.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
I'm talking about them, not you.
Exactly, because I'm not white. Hey! Fuck you.